chat really quick as well. Looks like we're getting it. There it is. Okay, good. And then we'll have like live questions if people want to.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the Bard of All Trades podcast. I'm your host, Brad the Bard, and with me today I have the mystery man from Escape.exe's escape room in Lehigh Valley, Mark. And before we get into the podcast, I just want to touch on a few things like my sponsors. I got Vedinian out there from adarklegacy.net. If you guys like horror, sci-fi, and creative writing, make sure you check out his website. Also, Valley Jiujitsu, if you want to learn how to choke people, check that place out. And if you're a Finishers guy, maybe you should come check out Mark's spot, literally less than a block away, if you're a 10th Planet guy there in Bethlehem. And then finally, BNB Media, if you guys are looking for a solution to make your event an incredible thing and you need people to film it or stream it, make sure you hit us up. And also a giant shout out to Chris and Sam, my Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for being patient through that. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing pretty well, man.
Yeah, pretty good. So we've been talking about doing this for a little bit, and we're finally here.
Yeah, it's been a while since I think the first escape room we did at the location. So, yeah, it's been a while, but busy. But
yeah.
We're finally here.
Yep, finally, man. So let's spare no quarter here. Let's jump in. What made you decide I wanted to make an escape room?
So it was more kind of the idea of that, I want to start a business.
Okay.
So I did my first escape room in around 2016 or so. I went to a place down in Virginia called Escape RVA. They made a room called The Glitch in the Matrix. So I did this room with my friends. They told me about this idea. I was like, hey, there's this new thing. It's called an escape room. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll try anything once, basically, right?
Yeah.
So we go out together. We go to the escape room. And after the escape room was done, I was like, wow, that was really, really cool, but it could be a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought about it over and over and over again. And then within a few months, I opened up and started the LLC. And then after the LLC, it took like 3 or 4 years to find a location, demolish, and then renovate the location. So it took a really long time.
Dang. So what was your reasoning behind that? That's an interesting way to go about it. Maybe like I don't know too much about like the business side of things, but what made you decide I need the LLC now so that my idea is going to work when I'm ready?
I basically decided to get the LLC as a way to just immediately jump like into the deep end of the pool. I knew that it was going to be, I couldn't do it as like a sole proprietor, and I didn't want the liability on me. So it was like, well, I need to make a company because I know that this is going to go somewhere. Yeah. At least I thought it was.
Yeah,
right?
You were confident enough.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. But I knew it was going to be something good until I got my first customers. Once I got my first customers, then it was just like a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Like the first couple groups to go through Site 117, it's like, oh, okay, like they get it, like they understand it.
Yeah.
Because, my escape rooms are kind of a lot different than the other ones.
Of course. And I'll touch on that a little bit because I've done both of your escape rooms. I've been lucky enough to beta test your most recent release, Neon Tokyo. So, I'm a pretty frequent escape room guy. Like I've done a bunch, like with our mutual friend, B-Tang out there. And man, I am a huge fan of like going to a new like place. I've done like escape rooms in Alaska. They're not that good. Went to one in DC that was like a mummy kind of theme one where it was like in the basement and you're in a pyramid and there's sand on the floor. That one was pretty immersive. But man, there's not really any as immersive as what you've done. And you really took a huge advantage of having an IT background to leverage that.
I have an IT background, a media background, so I do multimedia stuff. I used to help with my sister's YouTube channel when that was a big thing. So I really blended a lot of things together.
Yeah.
I know how to program too, and I can build stuff out of wood.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a random assortment of skills that kind of like melded together to make this perfect thing.
Yeah, a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Take one to know one.
So that kind of started off. I don't really remember what you're asking, but
oh yeah, no, I was just saying like how did you get what made you well, I was kind of just like complimenting like how immersive it is, but if you want to
use premium audio, like all of our stuff in there is top tier. Yeah, because I've been working with it for so long. Yeah, like I saw your SM58s.
Yeah.
I know what you're. Yeah, I know what's going on for the most part. So most of, if not everything in the escape room is absolutely top tier in terms of like audio quality, video quality. We use After Effects. Like we spend hundreds of hours rendering videos and stuff like that. So we are absolutely top tier, and we do it all in house too.
So can you tell me, like, in your opinion, what makes a good escape room versus a bad one? Like, are there like maybe give me like 3 examples of like this is like a red flag and these are some green flags?
So I've only done 21-ish escape rooms myself. It kind of got to the point where it was kind of like hit or miss.
Yeah.
And they're not exactly cheap. They're kind of expensive. So mine's particularly expensive. We are a luxury product as well, but I think it's justified in the price. But we'll talk about that later. So when it comes to finding an escape room, it's so hit and miss for me. If the puzzles don't make sense, I'm immediately out of it. I'm out instantly.
The immersion.
If I have to count bats, like I'm out of the game. Like if something doesn't make sense, if you are.
If I had to count
yeah, something like that.
The Dracula ones.
It's just anything like that doesn't make sense. If you're going to some guy's like bus and you're trying to escape this guy's bus and there's a puzzle or something that's like, oh, Brad the Bard left a secret message on it. It's like, well, why did he do that?
Yeah.
So all of my escape rooms that I design and build, every single thing in there has, why is this here? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What is this for? So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
So that
everything ties into the lore too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, well, we can touch on that then.
Yeah, with all the fact that my escape rooms all touch on each other too. They're all interrelated. Yeah. So with my escape rooms too, I'm heavily influenced by movies and video games.
Yeah.
So basically what that means is that all of the escape rooms are interrelated and interconnected with one big story.
Yeah.
And the escape rooms are also multiple ways to win. So depending on when you make that choice in the escape room, it's completely different. Neon Tokyo is actually 2 escape rooms, which you know, obviously. Neon Tokyo is 2 escape rooms in one. Site 117 is also technically 2 escape rooms in one. But yeah, but going back to what makes a good escape room.
Yeah.
One of the first things I look at too is the website. I can kind of tell the quality of the website. So are they outsourcing the website? Because that tells me their level of skill. Did they make it themselves? If they made it themselves, what's the quality of skill? What's the media like? If they're making it themselves and it looks like they have good media, then they might know what they're doing in terms of the things inside the escape room.
Yeah.
Because as you know, like there's a lot of videos and stuff in the escape room itself on my escape rooms. So yeah, I look at the website. I look at the quality of the puzzles. If I have to go from a lock to a key to a lock to a key, I'm out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's real quick for me.
Like, I gotta say, like in your room, I can't remember how many like actual locks there are.
The only time there's a lock
like,
is if it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like the lockers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
But the only time there's any kind of lock or key is when it makes sense for it to be there.
It's not like someone put a padlock on this random box that like just doesn't fit at all.
Or like a modern lock in like a mummy room.
Yeah.
So all that is taken into account. Like if I was going to design some kind of mummy room, it would probably utilize magic. Like I said, like I can build stuff out of wood. I have animated props. Once you do the Escape EXE path in Tokyo. Yeah. So there's that next level of things.
Yeah, and then you also have like some infrared kind of stuff as well. And like
there's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. So you guys got to go check it out yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's plenty of magic in there.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's super sick, man. Yeah. So what was your initial inspiration for like the Escape EXE idea, right? So you had Escape.exe, like.
So the whole idea is that Escape EXE is this company that I work for and all the employees work for, right? So Escape EXE is this company that started coming up, and what they're doing is they're basically doing like a testing in the general population. So they're looking for people who are really good at escape rooms. So there's an inspiration from Ender's Game, like a lot of video game inspiration.
That Matrix,
and Matrix
probably.
Definitely inspiration. Not their escape room, but
the
Matrix. So all of that kind of ties in where you're trying to not only figure out the escape rooms that you're doing, but you're also trying to figure out what Escape EXE is all about. And like I said, like Escape EXE is making all these like little escape rooms, and they're basically testing the general population to find the best and brightest. And then they send them out on these escape rooms, but it turns out that it's actually real. So like, it's kind of like, oh,
Very, very immersive. And then something interesting that I'd like to touch on because I don't want to forget. Because I remember when you told me this the other time I was at your escape room. I thought it was super cool.
We were there for a while.
Yeah. But you told me that you actually, like, during COVID, like, when, like, you kind of started your business during, like, the COVID lockdown.
I was open for 3 months.
Yeah. And then you designed, like, an escape room video game.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, dude, because that's awesome.
So I opened on Black Friday of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember doing the first escape room, and I wasn't sure if people were going to like it because I thought it was going to be a little too difficult. That's the other thing, too. I also hate escape rooms that are easy. Like, if I finish an escape room in 20 or 30 minutes, like, I feel like I want my money back.
Yeah.
So a big thing, we'll touch back on that, but a big thing for me is making sure that if you paid for my escape room, you're going to be in there for like 55 to 60 minutes. Like, you're going to be in there for the full amount of time. And the room also adapts to how you play.
Yeah.
So the better you play, the harder it is, which is a little bit of the secret sauce. But yeah, you'll stay in there. So anyway, so I opened up and I saw people like the first escape room. I'm like, cool, this is great. And, you know, sales were growing. Word of mouth was growing. I made a contract to have some cool billboards and stuff. And then all of a sudden it was like COVID and it just immediately died. And then it just went to zero, right? Zero sales. So instead of panicking, I was like, well, I can already program a little bit. And I see people making games all the time on YouTube. So it can't be too difficult. I was wrong. But I basically worked on a video game with Nick that I mentioned. It took us like a solid 2 months, like straight. We did it for like, because I need money. Yeah. So it was like 12-hour days for like 2 months straight. And we basically made a fully interactive, like 3D video game. That's also an escape room that it's built into the lore. It's actually the origin story of 47, one of our main characters, which you also, the more you play our escape rooms, the more the story makes sense.
Yeah.
That's also part of the escape room experience at Escape EXE is when you come to our escape room, you figure out little things and it keeps you coming back. So anyway, so we made this game in like 2 months. We figured out how to make everything in Blender, like 3D worlds and stuff.
Yeah.
So we made like a 3D world. We found out this new, what do they call it? Well, whatever. We found this new kind of like, I guess, coding language. I don't want to touch on it too much, but we found this new coding language, and we were talking to the people who made, I guess, like the engine. See, I don't even know the words, but I made it.
Yeah.
They made like some kind of engine or something like that, and the way that I was using their engine was so complicated that they've never seen it before. So I was doing like 360 views, but theirs was made for like, I think 180 or something like that.
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
But the game is made for anyone to be able to like pick it up and play on like an iPad. So you can pick it up on your iPad and you scroll through it and you like keep your hints. The game's also pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all tied into the story. So if you play the game and the escape rooms in real life, it starts to fill in the backstory of one of our main characters.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like 3 parts with like a 3-part thing, but that's all on pause right now because I'm focusing on the real
physical
life
business now that it's coming back to life kind of thing.
Yeah,
Makes sense. It's
definitely.
probably more fun to do than sitting it.
They're actually both really fun.
Yeah, you enjoyed the coding aspect of things?
Because it was a challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
so
sense.
it's like difficult. It's like, okay, well, I know I can do this, but how am I going to get to where I need to be? And it was fun. Like, I really liked making it. I hope it still runs well. But the other thing, too, is like as Chrome updates, as iOS updates,
so it's a web
changes
app.
everything. Apple has different rules from like Chrome.
Yeah.
So it's annoying. It actually does. It runs in like WebGL. It's like a 3D thing. You can run it right in your browser. It doesn't download to your phone. It streams to your phone.
Yeah.
It's also different too.
Yeah. No, that's super cool, man. So tell me a little bit about like how did you gain some of the knowledge that you have in like the IT background? Can you touch on that a little bit?
So I had an IT job for like 9 years. And they had like a lot of parts where I needed to do automation stuff. So I needed to learn how to program. But I didn't really start doing a lot of that until after I got my master's degree. After I got my master's degree.
What do you have your master's in?
I have an MBA.
Oh, okay.
So at that moment, I was like, I need to run my own business.
Okay.
No matter what it takes.
Yeah.
And then, shortly thereafter, I did the escape room.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But my background was in IT. So I set up the whole network. I did all the wiring runs. Events. I used to do events all the time. So I have like event production.
Like what?
And planning.
Can you give me some examples?
Like concerts.
Oh,
like
really?
We would set up concerts. Yeah. I mean, you know where I work.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like we would set up like concerts and stuff like that and like podcasts and like live streams. So I have all that background too.
That's crazy, dude. I actually didn't know too much about that stuff. That's pretty cool.
I did all the event production.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. So you're pretty familiar with OBS then?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I remember one of your exhibits in the new Neon Tokyo thing was pretty ridiculous.
Neon Tokyo is crazy.
Yeah.
So Neon Tokyo is designed for every escape room that I'm doing is basically designed for 3 groups of 2.
Yeah.
But there's so much to do that even if you come in with like 8 people to Site 117 or 6 people to Neon Tokyo, you're going to be in there for the entire time, and everyone's doing something too.
Yeah.
No one's really just like standing there like waiting to do the next thing. Like
Yeah.
that's also part of the challenge of making a good escape room to me.
Yeah.
I don't like escape rooms where everyone huddles around one thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so funny. I remember me and Brian were doing one about zombies. It was like a zombie apocalypse themed one, and they just had a zombie poster up, like it was like a sticker of a zombie like in the thing.
Spooky.
And it's like, whoa, like why is that zombie
Instantly,
in this room with
like,
us?
Zero. If I saw that, I'd be like, done. I'm out. Like I'm not. Even though I'm gonna be in there because I paid for it, like I'm out. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, like the immersion's like gone.
Zero.
You're just like
suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like. You couldn't spend like $50 like
yeah, you couldn't put like some like board like window sticker over that.
I mean,
guy.
they even have like zombie targets that look like 3D, and you shoot them and they bleed and stuff. You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
Yeah, 100%.
So like they could have just put like a 3D like,
yeah,
or Halloween call.
Yeah,
like,
I think like
come on,
what would have been sick is if like they had like an actual like dead like zombie like on the floor, and like you had to like.
Sick.
That like you had to like dig into like the stomach for
Sure.
a key or something, like because like, oh, this cop like ate the handcuff key, like that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't touch on horror stuff in my escape rooms.
I feel like you have like the genre where you could easily.
If I made a horror
up.
escape room, it would be absolutely terrifying. I think because it wouldn't just be like scary, like oh, what's going on, like. It would be like a psychological kind of thriller.
Yeah.
So it would really mess with you.
Yeah. Can you give me like an example of like something you like? Have you done like a horror escape room?
No, because I don't like that.
Yeah.
But most of them turn out to be horror too. Like like,
anyway, just like the suspense.
Like you've been kidnapped, and like it's like it's usually really corny too. Like it's not. I did one that I did not expect it to be horror. That was cool. But if I'm going into, I don't like to be scared when I pay for things.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a roller coaster or something, right? But like, I don't want to go there to be scared. I think it's stupid. But, yeah.
You don't do like the haunted hay rides.
None of that. I don't go to haunted houses. Yeah.
That's funny.
I'd rather go to like a comedy or something, like laugh. Like, why would I? But yeah, that's just my take on it. But I don't want to do like horror escape rooms or anything like that. But I mean, that's pretty cool. There's just so many ideas. And I think the thing with ideas is just the execution. So like so many people come up with so many ideas, and it's just like, that's cool. How are you going to do it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Can you give me like, so I'm like starting my own media company as well with like BNB Media. I think I mentioned you before.
Yeah, I heard it on the advertisement.
Yeah, obviously. Do you have any like advice for how, because like you have a background in that, and like obviously like you have like just you're like your own CEO and everything, you know what I mean? Like how can you give me like some ideas like about how like you would market something like that like today? Because something I found is because of my podcast and like my skills in live streaming, when COVID hit, there was a need for that because events weren't allowed to have people at them.
Yeah, they're still doing a lot of live streaming.
Yeah, so there's a big market for that now. Like, can you give me some like advice on that, or someone in my shoes?
So the first thing I would do is have like absolutely top tier everything. So I have a top tier website with a top tier portfolio. I think a portfolio is extremely important when it comes to like art or media. So if you have a good portfolio of like, here's a project that we did, these people trusted us with this event that took, X amount of viewers, like I think that's super important.
Yeah.
And then it depends on what else you're going to be doing. I mean, if you're going to be editing videos and stuff like that, iMovie probably wouldn't cut it. You could probably get away with it for most things, but
yeah, we're using the Adobe Creative Cloud in-house. Yeah. That's the move, man.
Photoshop, all of that, After Effects. Yeah.
You like After Effects?
So I don't really touch After Effects.
It's hard, man.
After Effects is the 3D one, right?
Yeah.
I live in Premiere.
Yeah, Premiere, same.
My buddy lives in basically After Effects.
Yeah.
After Effects is hard to get used to.
Dude, like I take an hour to figure out what I want to do, and then the edit begins. Like
After Effects is weird. I think you're supposed to like make it first in Premiere and then put it into I don't know. Oh man, it depends on your workflow.
I've been doing it backwards then. Like I'm like, how do I make, like I have a video of me like falling when I was skateboarding that I made into like, you know, that shooting stars meme.
Yeah.
I basically did that. Yeah, you guys can look up the skateboard video that I did. We got a comment from Vedinian. Last time we did Site 117 and with the cable thing. I won't go too into that riddle, but
the cables are hilarious.
Because like I guess I went about it a way that was like pretty time consuming versus like what you guys were saying like could work. But I remember like I've actually done Site 117 multiple times. And like to your point,
you could replay it a lot.
Dude, every time I'm in there I'm like, you know what? I didn't do this one. Let me do this puzzle.
Yep.
And then I'm spending like most of my time in there on it cuz it is like that difficult. Like
it's difficult. So that's the thing,
from like, some like it's because I'm an idiot on some. Because like I remember the one thing with like the models. I'm like trying to do it. I'm like, wait, I have to do this, and something's gonna see me do it.
It's one of the things where the escape room, it's seems difficult at first.
Yeah.
But I really like the idea of discovery. So as you're playing through the escape room, you slowly discover more and more information. So it gets like easier and easier for people to understand what they're doing.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty. Site 117, there's plenty to do for everybody. And with the choice mechanic, it does also add like a whole nother layer to it. In Neon Tokyo, when you played just the resistance path.
Oh man,
like, yeah. There's a lot to. You could probably replay the resistance twice easily. Yeah, if I didn't give you like to go back and look at it.
Yeah.
And then the Escape EXE path is a completely different escape room, so you could probably play that one 2 or 3 times as well.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it just depends. It seems difficult. That's the thing. People see difficult or like hard, and it's like it's not though.
It's not daunting though. That's another thing too. It's like I really like a challenge as well, and I feel like that's the clientele you're attracting anyway when you do an escape room. It's like
so my escape room is like if you're like I've had people do 500 escape rooms. 500, 200, 300 escape rooms they went through, and afterwards like I've never seen anything like that before. Like you can tell too, because normally they'd come in, they're like, all right, like let's do it, like number 500, like check. They go in like really cocky, they're like, okay, like let's do this, like here we go. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, like we're 30 minutes in already. Like that's how I know it's good, when people lose track of time too. Like, we're 30 minutes into it already. Like, how much is left? Like, what's going on? And then they get really serious. Yeah. So I've had people do so many escape rooms come back and be like, that was absolutely phenomenal. And it's all in the reviews. So
yeah. I'm kind of curious about like, so you were talking about like the website stuff. I'm like, I want to let's go back on the river. I want to go down this tributary a little bit more. So I was doing a little bit of research because I've actually never built from scratch my own website. And I at first I was considering doing like something for WordPress for like some websites had ideas for in the past.
WordPress is good.
Yeah, but like. Right now, I've been looking more at like Squarespace and stuff like that because I was managing a Squarespace site at a previous job, and one reason like I'm looking at Squarespace additionally is because for storing a podcast on their site, they have like unlimited storage for their like $30 a month tier thing. So I'm curious, like, what's your idea on like, do you host your website in like a server, like in your own data center kind of thing?
So no, I wouldn't. No, for liability's sake, no. But
exactly.
So the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of different things out there. WordPress is the most versatile, like if you know what you're doing, because you can just get plugins and you can do the different plugins.
Yeah, I was talking to some security guys about that too, and they were like, yeah, WordPress is good until 8 exploits come out for the 20
the different plugins you have,
extensions that you're using.
Yeah, you just have to use like good extensions, and you'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're trying to do.
For sure.
Like it depends on how you're finding customers too.
Yeah.
Like because SEO is a big thing too.
Oh, of course, yeah. But yeah, like tell me a little bit more about that. I'm curious about your take on like doing like websites for like from a media perspective, even just for my podcast, for example.
It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Everything depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yo, for sure.
So if you have like if you want to be found organically, or if you're using your website as kind of like a portal for people to come in and like subscribe or something like that, I mean, I guess Squarespace or whatever would be perfectly fine for that. There's no reason why you wouldn't or you couldn't use that for that reason, right? But WordPress has like, I think in my opinion, better SEO and things like that. Yeah. And then if you're Apple, you could just spend like $30,000 on a single web page. So,
yeah, for real.
Yeah, probably more. I wonder how much it costs for like just scrolling through the page. Yeah, but it depends on what you want to do. for you, I don't quite know what you want to do.
For sure.
So it's like, I don't know if you want like a pay wall or something, or just like a storage space for all your stuff.
Yeah.
Because YouTube is technically doing that for you, but
yeah. And one of the things like I'm concerned with is like Joe Rogan just had like this big snafu on like Spotify. I don't know if you heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how much like a controversial topic from like a really big guy can, you know, roll the shit downhill per se to affect a lot of different people doing similar things.
It was the YouTube apocalypse. I don't know when was that, like 2016. So the YouTube apocalypse, I think PewDiePie started that. So like the YouTube apocalypse, and all of a sudden like everyone started getting demonetized. Boom. Boom. So yeah, it just takes one company to be like, wait, what? And then they pull their ads, and then the other company's like, wait, what? They pulled their ads, and then it's just like an instant reaction. Like everyone's gone.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
YouTube's definitely not like the cash cow it was like 10 years ago or whatever too, like, or maybe not that long ago, but
I think it's better now.
Yeah. You think it's better now? Why?
Because you need to have more subs to get into it, and then depending on the content you're doing, I think you have a higher CPM. It just depends on what topics you touch. Each different category has a different CPM.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not super familiar with this. This is just kind of like passive knowledge for me, but
I think
passively absorbed.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm like maybe I'm like a little more subjective on this because like I'm talking to the people that are afflicted by this, but it seems like there's enough money to go around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And even before, the people who, you know, quote unquote deserved the money weren't receiving or are not now receiving as much as they were before.
That's because of the adpocalypse, I think. Like the whole apocalypse thing and all the ads pulling out. I think ad block is also becoming more popular. But because as ads get more insidious. But I have YouTube Premium or YouTube Red, whatever they call it. Yeah. So I have YouTube Premium, so I feel pretty good when I watch like a video through. Actually, I've heard that with YouTube Premium, like if you download someone's video, because like you have the option to download things. I heard that like, you know, if you're watching like an hour-long podcast and you click download, it automatically just attributes all those ads basically to your account as if you watched through the whole thing. Yeah, but I don't know how true that is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because they can't verify that you watched through them. So you get a big chunk of the premium. Because YouTube Premium, you know, they pay in chunks, like they share.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't have Premium myself.
I love it.
Yeah. What are some perks that it gives you, like besides the ad thing? Because I just use Brave browser and that takes care of it for me. Yeah.
I like to support my creators.
I appreciate it.
So YouTube Premium, I mean, I still use an ad block everywhere, but YouTube Premium, the main reason I have it is just to support the creators. Right beneath that, YouTube runs better on the iPhone because you can run it in the background. Yeah. It used to give me Google Music for free, so it's just kind of like stuck. And then I got Google Family, so like I share with my friends too. Yeah. Okay. So it's like not that expensive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's why I have it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Fair enough. Do you use a lot of different streaming services and stuff?
Just YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah. You pay a lot on Twitch too?
I don't actually pay for Twitch. I got like Amazon Prime, right? So
yeah. So
you get like the free monthly like Twitch Prime sub, which I heard they also give a better percentage of that out. But the Twitch Prime sub goes to like my favorite person of the month. It's like, hey, you know, you got this. Yeah. So but
what are some things that you watch there? You watch a lot of gaming?
Not really. Yeah. It's just random things.
I know I've streamed like PC builds on there. I know there's like hackers that I follow that'll stream like, yo, this is me like trying to reverse engineer this, and they'll like stream their whole process.
FBI open up.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, like most of the stuff that I watch is stuff like as I'm doing stuff in the escape room. So I'll put on some like
random stuff.
I've had this like educational like YouTube video kind of like binge recently. Like I don't want to say any of the channel names, but they'll be talking about a specific topic, and I'll just put it in my earpods, and then like as I'm running around and like doing stuff in the escape room, I'm just like listening to like the origin of Switzerland, like how do they come together. So like that's kind of like what's going on in the background.
That's super cool.
So I need Premium to do that on the iPhone, unfortunately, but
yeah. Fair enough. Do you enjoy listening to like podcasts and stuff?
I do. I like podcasts. It depends on the person. There's like 3 guys that I really like to listen to.
Who?
They're like more like political streamers.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Do you listen to Darknet Diaries?
I don't know what that is.
No?
No.
Are you serious? Oh my god, Brian told me about that one, and man, dude, Darknet Diaries is so good. They have like very relevant things to what's going on in like the cyber crime world, but also just really like suspenseful, like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like it's very digestible for like a normal person.
A normal person.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not. Like I have a
I'm not normal.
I have an elevated understanding of a lot of things. So
I mean, I like to.
I'll have to send you one that's like a
You
good first
should.
impression.
I mean,
sure.
even things that I like know quite a bit about, I still like to watch the Explain Like I'm 5 version of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a cute take on it.
Yeah, that's a cute take on it.
It's like, yeah,
That's funny.
It makes sense.
Yeah. It's like I see how you could gather those things.
That's a good way to explain it. And then it helps me like just to rehear it in a different perspective too. But,
Yeah, I like to do that as well. I really enjoy hearing like I'm not a fan of Apple, but I'll listen to like
Apple
MKBHD talk about like Apple stuff.
Well, he doesn't have an iPhone, but he uses Android phones, but he uses Mac for like everything else.
Yeah. And he likes even like Tesla, and so there's some other things that he's like a huge proponent of where like I don't agree with him.
He has a
but
lot
he
of
has
money.
He has a lot of
buys a lot
money,
of cool
and he has a
things.
very informed opinion on things. So I can
I
at
watched
least
a headphone review of him a long time ago. Like
the
when he was, like, a
ATH
little kid.
M50s.
I don't remember what they were.
Yeah,
but
I know
it
his
was a
big one is like the
long
Beats
time
versus
ago.
ATH M50s.
Yeah, he was like a really little kid.
Yeah, that's
But,
funny.
Yeah, I like MKBHD. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He has a really high production quality. I like the transitions and stuff that he does.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for
Me
his
too.
craft. Yeah. Got some comments I just want to address. So, we got he's just.
He's talking about the escape room.
Yeah. He's complimenting you. Start learning the mechanics.
Difficult but rewarding is exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I think like a large part of the fun of an escape room is discovering like what exactly you're trying to do. So, like when you pick up Mario for the first time, it's like, well, what do you do? How do you jump? And I think I watched a documentary on this where they were explaining that. It's like, how do you jump? Oh, A. How do you do this? B. How do you run? Y. Right? So it's like, as you pick up this controller and you look at Mario for the first time, it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the fun is just figuring out like how to play it, and then really quickly getting people to the level of mastery where they can then feel like they're winning all the time. So I try to kind of like, it's like the first level of Mario.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's also like doable.
Yeah.
Because you've never done it before.
Yeah. Definitely. Are there some like psychological things that you like
through the
deliberated
entire
before?
thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing is based in psych. 17 minutes early, so you can remember. Signposting like, oh, kind of like bring your attention to here or bring your attention to over here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of psych stuff going. The temperature of the building.
Really?
Yeah, I keep it a little bit on the chillier side, so we're like, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of wakes you up a bit. The color of the lights. So when you first walk in, all the lights are like, I think they're like ice blue. I don't remember if it's 4,000 Kelvin or 5,000 Kelvin. But they're not like reddish. Like I can see in your bus here, like these guys are like, these will wake you right up, and then those will like kind of put you to sleep.
I'll actually touch on that really quick. I guess like the audience can't really see that, but there's a method behind the madness on this, right? These are all LED bulbs.
Sure.
But I actually have a video on testing the wattage of each bulb, and these take a little bit more.
I'm not surprised they look brighter.
Yeah, and they're a lot brighter, and they have the white hue, right? So I knew I needed the perfect kind of light temperature for the podcast area.
Yeah, exactly.
But the rest of the bus, I didn't need it.
Light temperature is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rest of the bus, I didn't feel like I had the need for that, and I didn't want to affect the electricity. So I had I was always intentional about every like upgrade I would have in the bus. That's how I am with everything, honestly. Yeah, even like with my music and stuff. Like I'm always thinking about like, do I need to change all the guitar strings or just these three?
I would just change them all.
Yeah,
It's
lot of
cheap
times
enough to change them all.
Yeah, but depends on the strings.
What's your
you get.
favorite one?
Yeah, I don't know,
my
man.
favorite.
Seven string sets are a lot more expensive than regular 6-string sets.
I don't know the price.
Yeah.
I guess it's like $50. I don't know.
No.
My guess is 50.
No, it's like the difference is like 5 to like 15.
Okay.
It's an extra $10. It matters. I change my strings pretty
Keep 'em
frequently.
spares.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm not like a musician, so
Yeah, it's all right. We can't all be the bard of all trades.
That's true.
Gotta be Mark the Escape EXE man.
Escape EXE carpenter, programmer guy.
Yeah. So let me talk a little bit about the sponsor that you have in El Gato.
So I would call them a partner.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So we were partnered with a company called Elgato. They're a subsidiary of Corsair. So they've been super cool to work with. So they make like stream decks and they make like all this stuff for streaming. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, like I think your products are super cool and I can use them in different ways. So I used their products throughout the escape room essentially. And yeah, they've been really cool to work with. I also work with a company right now called Perfection Floor Tile. So Perfection Floor Tile makes made in the USA like interclick lock like puzzle piece tiles. Like you remember the floor in Neon Tokyo?
Oh yeah.
Like they are absolutely amazing. Because I used their floor in the building first, and then like after like a year or two, like I'm looking at the floor, I'm like, thousands of people have gone through here, and the floor still looks brand new. So I was like, hey guys, you have an incredible flooring system. Like we should probably work together on the next escape room. So yeah.
So how did you go about like so you're partnering with them? So what were the perks that they get versus what you get out of that partnership? Like I'm curious.
It depends, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it's like marketing stuff. Like,
yeah, of course.
There's like
so like
secret ad placement.
there's secret ad placement. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it depends. I don't want to go too much into the
of course
minutia of the deals and stuff like that. But like, you know, in Tokyo there is ad placement in like, quite a few spots. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying not to spoil like the rooms. I really want to like talk about like specific stuff, but I'm like, God.
Well, all the rooms.
Yeah.
Talking back on psychology, they're all little tiny mind games too. So not only am I trying to give you a cool puzzle, the one thing I hate so much about escape rooms, oh my goodness, is if you see something on the wall where it's like, oh, you know, black sticker, green sticker, triangle. Oh my God, that's the code. And you like run over and you put in the thing. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that was the code. So I like the idea of kind of like playing with the psychology of not everything you need is like all right here. Like you might need to like branch out. Like it's like a compartmental thing, right? Like people like to like be like, I'm in this room right now, so therefore everything I need is in this escape room that I'm in right now. But it's like, well, you should probably branch out. And then I mean, even in Neon Tokyo and Site 117, I believe that the escape room starts from the moment you walk through the front door. So like when you walk into Escape EXE, like I'm wearing a uniform and I have like a name tag. And
yeah. It is pretty
it's part of the
right
story.
Out the gate, yeah.
So, you know, I work for Escape EXE, and then as you're playing the escape room, like if you start paying attention to things, it'll actually help you in the escape room. Yeah. So yeah, like all that kind of stuff like ties together.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's even you're using employees' pictures in the rooms. I won't go more into it. Yeah. But it's like it's just like you said, like if you're paying attention, you can kind of draw some things.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some stories about maybe like some funny things that have happened at the escape room?
Oh, but there's one thing that I don't. Let me try to think about that for a second.
Yeah. Take your time.
I just saw that there. Oh, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
There's like little Easter eggs in the escape room.
Yeah.
So our next door neighbor has a dog named Parker. So there's like a Parker Easter egg in Site 117.
Oh, yeah.
There's like little tiny things like that I hide throughout the escape room. Funny things, though, that have happened. So most of the funny things that happened, we kind of almost intentionally caused them to happen. So you have something to talk about with your friends.
Yeah.
Like the way that the puzzles are designed.
Yeah, tell me
like
about it.
It's like with...
tell me what you can. Be vague.
You know where the power core is found in Site 117?
Yeah.
And then kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like a little like trick in there. So there's just like little tiny things that are like hidden throughout the room that if you find it or if you're prompted to look there, like it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go too much into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
But and the other cool thing about just going on that is that there's multiple ways to beat every single puzzle too.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we think about too. Like if you think outside the box, you're actually rewarded most of the time. But.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? I remember you told me a story where someone was doing something with like a pencil in their pocket and you were like, just don't do that.
They were trying to take off their mask to do this thing. And I'm like, yo, dude, that's really disgusting.
Yeah. Please just do this.
Yeah. Because we can talk in the escape room. Like we don't type or anything like that. Like our stuff is like pretty high tech, right? Like it's like cutting edge. So we talk into the escape room and people can talk back and forth freely. So that really adds to like the immersion too. Because like, you know, when you're playing to the escape room, like all of a sudden you hear like all your teammates that are like back at base trying to make you like, yeah, go over there and do this thing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of all in there too.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. So we have a question from Vedinian here. Is there a part of either room that you would like to revisit or redo? Maybe you can talk about
It literally happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like the Site 117 has been upgraded probably like it's consistently upgraded constantly.
Yeah. Can you give me instead of just lighting, you said?
Lighting effects. Yeah, you know how Neon Tokyo's lighting effects are?
Mm-hmm.
I discovered this thing and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Can I do anything with this? And then I started looking to like the code of it and I'm like, oh, I can do stuff with this. So all the lighting in Neon Tokyo, like Neon Tokyo is really cinematic, right?
Of
Like
course,
when you first start, it's like dark.
It's super cool.
And then like stuff happens and all of a sudden you do the thing and like, whoa, like the whole thing turns on and it's whoa. So yeah. But in Site 117, after I figured out what to do in Tokyo, it all was then put into Site 117. So like I upgraded some coding inside Tokyo for like a button sequence. I was like, wow, that's actually a really cool way for me to do that. So then I went back to Site 117 and I upgraded all the code. So everything's constantly upgraded. If I want to revisit or redo something, I literally do it. As soon as the customers are done with the escape room, like over the weekend, and then like coming that Monday, it's like I should probably change this, and then I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always polish everything.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you beta tested Site 117 in the very, very beginning.
I think I was the first wave of real customers. I think
that's possible.
I think you had some of the guys from my jiu-jitsu gym in there for the beta test, actually.
Probably.
Which is funny. It's so funny that seems to be an interesting theme that like
a lot of BJJ people like to think. So
yeah,
they come to the escape room and they think.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing like a portable setup? Like I think I was telling you about, like I had been to an escape room where they had like a portable thing in Vegas, and the guy was like cool. Super like, don't look at this, it's not ready. Like,
it's cool. It depends.
Yeah.
If I was going to do something portable, it would have to be like absolutely. So I hold myself and everything that I do to a very high standard.
Yeah.
So like
for sure,
if I'm going to do something like that, it would be something that's just like out of this world.
Yeah.
So I have thought about doing a lot of things like that. And then I'm like, oh, it's not quite where I want it to be. So like I stop myself. It will be something that I do eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about doing a couple things with like a couple kits.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a kit kind of thing.
If you were gonna do an escape room in my bus, like what are some things you would do?
Oh man.
Yeah, just
give you so much stuff.
I know.
I see the knobs and dials there.
Oh yeah, right. Like, the knobs and dials to control the lights and everything like that.
It depends on the story of the escape room too.
Yeah.
But in here it'd be pretty interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Give me like another like 2 ideas. Give me like 3. I like that what you just said, like with the lights, right? Like that's a really cool idea because that controls the heaters.
I'd probably have you like salvage parts out of the engine and stuff like that.
Oh, that would be sick
to like bring back into here because I probably have like your live stream. This would probably be exactly how the escape room would look.
Oh, dude, that's super cool.
so when it comes to designing the escape room, I design the puzzles up front and what I think is cool. So like I'll be like, I think that this is really interesting. Did you do ramen shop with?
After we did the run.
Ramen? Well, in any case, each of those things is in my head and it's like ready to go. It's like, okay, like I know what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
And then I build the set. So it's not just me building, right? Like it's me, my friend Alex, Marta, my wife. Like she did all the artwork inside of Neon Tokyo, which thank goodness because I'm not very artistic. Well, physically, right? Like painting stuff, like I can't do it. If it's on a computer, it's not a problem.
Same. I am an
Wacom
audio
tablet.
artist. I am not a video or visual artist.
Yeah.
Maybe video I can capture the moment, but man, I can't. I'm drawing stick figures at my best.
Definitely. So like in here, like I'm looking around already, and it's like I think of puzzles that I think would be cool, and then I build the set around it. And then once the set is built, I look around the set again, and I'm like, oh, like that's a really cool cubby that I didn't even think of.
Yeah.
Like, that may come in handy. But the other thing too is that a lot of my escape rooms aren't just about escaping. Like you're actually doing something.
Yeah. Of course.
I might have like a legitimate real escape room just to say that I do have one that's just like you're trapped in a room, get out.
Yeah.
But yeah. It depends. Like,
I think that would be easy, right? Like just to go with the theme.
It's
of
so
your guys. You could be like captured by like Escape EXE, and you need to get out, like kind of thing.
Room 3 is going to be pretty interesting.
We can
talk about that after.
After, okay.
Room 3 is going to be.
Can you give me the name of it? What
it doesn't have it has a working name. It doesn't have like an actual name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So secretive.
Yeah. It has to be.
Yeah, of course.
Because like it's just one of those things. Like a lot of the escape room industry is a lot of copy and paste.
Yeah.
So
oh, for sure.
I don't do that. Like my stuff is like original stuff.
Yeah.
So so much of it is copy and paste.
Yeah.
But the thing about escape rooms though is that like online and stuff, like if people copy and paste, you can pretty much like tell that they copy and pasted. But in escape rooms, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
But you can kind of tell just by seeing the quality of work. Like if from the website to when you walk in to like what they're doing, and you're like, how much of this did they? I've actually been to escape rooms where they buy stuff like off of eBay, and I'll see like the same prop like 5 or 6 times. That's also frustrating. But
oh, that's funny. Like they have like something that someone made that like they make.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
you can tell right away.
Yeah.
I mean, I can.
Because
I make them.
Yeah.
Like I know what that is. Like you spent like $50 or whatever on this thing.
Yeah.
It's like nice.
That's
and
funny.
so did they.
And so did they.
Because like there's people who come to the escape room that own them and are like, wait, like how did you do that? And I'm like,
oh, you ever see like the boxes you have to twist to unlock kind of thing, the gravity things? Yeah, there's a lot of those like shenanigan things, and it was so funny. I remember my one friend. It was in an Alaska escape room, and it had that box, and I was like trying to figure out because I could hear like things were tumbling.
Like you're already
like yeah.
They see like that to me right there is like that's cool. But it has to fit the theme of the room.
Yeah.
Because like you could probably find that exact lockbox on Amazon.
Yeah. Well,
like
my buddy had seen one before. He's like, "Oh, this is one of those," and he just did that, and then like it opened. I'm like, "What the hell, dude? Like,
so
why?"
that to me is
it
like
took me 10 minutes, and I didn't get it open
because like you need to know puzzles.
Yeah.
That's a puzzle game that you can buy. So like you need to know like one of the most important things is setting out the rules of the game. If you don't know how a puzzle works, you're never going to figure it out until you encounter it. So like the difficulty of that puzzle is like, oh, like I have to spin it because there's like a ball bearing and it'll move to the sides.
Yeah.
And then once you do that the first time, then every future puzzle you get, you do the same thing. Like, oh, can I twist it? Can I drop it? Like, is it something spring loaded? So like there's things like that. But when I see something like that, unless they made it that's purpose built for I'm also, it immediately takes me right out. It's like there's no challenge. I view escape rooms as like a creative endeavor, right?
Yeah.
It's not just an escape room. Like this is me creating art.
Yeah.
And people are playing in my art. Like it's like you make music, I make escape rooms.
Yeah. No, dude, 100%.
Like, it's art. Like I'm making you an art piece and like giving you like a glimpse into this world that's like in my head that I'm trying to make. But the moment I see something where it's like, oh, it's no different to me than just like, okay, you have 60 minutes. Here's a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. Finish the whole thing and we'll let you to the next room. And it's like why? Like make something fun.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so funny. It's like this isn't original.
No, but it's
like,
just
a Bob Ross painting.
It's contrived difficulty.
Yeah. It's so funny. Yeah.
I could literally just give you like a jigsaw puzzle. Like solve the
course.
jigsaw puzzle. It's 1,000 pieces. Like watching for 40 minutes. Like, all right, cool.
So,
all right.
oh, you guys did a really good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal people take 55 minutes.
Our average escape time actually is 55 minutes.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like 55 for Site 117, and it's slightly over 55 in Neon Tokyo right now. But that's only a small sample.
Yeah.
But the route. We want you to get out in like 55 minutes. Like that's by design. It's not just an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
like,
sense.
We want you on the edge.
So yeah, that's funny.
Well, yeah.
Oh man, we got a bunch of people that are just giving me good analytics, hopefully by the ratio of comments on your video. But I have a question. Like, what's the worst escape room you've ever been in? Like, can you roast
it's just like. To me, it's like people who look at it as, oh, this is easy. Like, I'll be able to do this. Like, it's not a problem. But they have no experience in, like, even playing video games. Like, they've never encountered a puzzle game before. They've never done anything like that. So, like, they went to an escape room where it's like, hey, oh, there's a lock. Like, I can put locks on things. Like, that's not a problem. And then, like, you go and it's like, well, why is there a lock? Like, there's no, like, secondary thought. For me, the whole escape room has to be as immersive as possible. And that's like the direction that the market's going. So it's really starting to like kind of weed people out of like, oh, this escape room is like, there's different generations. Right?
Yeah.
Some people use it, some people don't. I just look at it in 2 ways. You can program or you can't program. And it's like, once you see like that that next level is like, it kind of drops from like analog things, like analog combo locks or directional locks. And it immediately goes to like, how did you do that? Like at that moment, it's like, okay, they have the potential to make something cool. But then it's like, well, have they thought about the puzzles? Have they designed things before? It's difficult. So the only escape rooms I've done that are bad are usually the ones where it's like, oh, like they thought that they could do this. They signed a lease for 4 years, and now they're just trying real hard.
Yeah.
Well, at least I can talk because I'm in the industry.
Can you give me like an example?
No,
you don't want to give an example? I want you to roast something.
No way.
That's funny.
No,
So
I still respect them, right?
Yeah,
they're still
like they're still hustling, right? They're still out here. I'm curious. So you were telling me you just got done doing a trip to go, like, to an escape room, like thing.
Yes. Well, it wasn't an escape room thing.
Event.
I actually went to Switzerland for a little bit. It was nothing to do with escape rooms. I went to Switzerland, and then I went to Zurich, and I did an escape room there, just to see like what it's all about. And Zurich has like an interesting challenge of because Switzerland, I guess, has like 4 official languages, so they have like an interesting idea of like you can't really write anything because you're not going to have 4 translations of everything.
Yeah.
So like I wanted to see how they kind of like got around that from like a creative perspective. So I did the escape room there, and it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. They called us back to beta test actually after that too. And then
really?
the new escape room that I beta tested was really cool. I don't want to say their name either, just because
really?
Like yeah. But
can you tell me like an interesting strategy that they did to overcome that language barrier? Because I never even thought about that.
So remember in Neon Tokyo, like the dials where you have to find the elementals?
I don't know if I did that one.
Yeah, well, it's kind of it's like IKEA instructions. Yeah.
Oh,
like if you put anything together from IKEA, like
so just like match the picture kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's like actions.
Yeah,
it's like hieroglyphics.
Yeah, hieroglyphs. Exactly. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
But no.
That's smart. That's a smart way to overcome that. Like it's like the Tower of Babel kind of thing, you know?
Rosetta Stone or something.
Yeah, for sure. That's super cool, man. Yeah, tell me a little bit about like how do you go about coming up with like ideas? Like are you ever inspired by like other escape rooms that you've done? Like you said you've done a few.
I've only done like with the one that I just did now, it's around 21.
Oh, really?
But yeah, because I don't it's not that I don't like them.
Yeah.
It's just that if it's not good, I hate them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
it's got to be
I
good.
make them, so like it better be
the
good.
quality's good. It has to be good.
It's like if you were a chef and you're known for making like sushi.
Yeah.
And then you go to like 7-Eleven and you pick up some sushi like pre-made, which is actually shockingly pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you get like some like, pre-made sushi and you're like, well, you get like a refined taste.
Yeah, of course.
So to me, like I've only done a couple, and I'm always really afraid of like, oh, if I do this, am I gonna feel like I wasted my money?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
so that really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But can we backtrack a little?
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
We can go on to something else. So let me ask you, if I was
it was how I came up with the ideas for things, right?
Yeah, just like inspiration wise.
And then how I did one. Oh, do I go to other escape rooms to do? Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't really go to other escape rooms to like get like inspiration for things.
Yeah.
Because the inspiration for all of my escape rooms is the story that I've built.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So the story that I've built is all from within there.
But the puzzles.
But I still
stuff,
like
right?
escape rooms. Like I still want to
yeah.
go. Even then, to me, I look at it as like, how did you come up with this? How did you do this? Like, where did you get this? Who did you outsource to?
Yeah.
Like that's usually what it comes down to. But I look at it in a different perspective, and it has to be like really, it has to be logical, it has to be immersive, and it all has to make sense. Which is basically what I do. If they're not doing what I'm doing, it immediately throws me out. But when I do an escape room, it's just because it's like, well, I'm hanging out with my friends and we got like an hour to kill. Like, let's go do one. But then it's like, I know we're going to get out in like 30 minutes. Like, yeah. So there's one that I've done that I will publicly comment on. There was an escape room I did in Los Angeles called Hatch Escapes. And they have a room called the Lab Rat. That's probably one of my favorite rooms that I've ever done. Yeah. Then I got a couple friends in Boston.
What was special about it that like made it stick out to you?
So
the immersion was good.
When I went there, I wasn't expecting it to be the way that it was, but it was just really interesting. The guy's actually from Bethlehem.
No, that's funny.
Yeah. But I didn't expect it, and it was done pretty well. There were a couple things that threw me off. It wasn't perfect, but it was something that I was like,
it's pretty
that
good.
That was really cool because I think they have like a degree or like a background in making movies. So like it felt
that
lot
makes
more
sense. Yeah,
it felt more like a movie.
Yeah, I got the LA
which is
guy.
also kind of what I'm trying to do. So it was kind of like, oh, cool.
I appreciate this.
I appreciate what you did here. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's kind of that, yeah.
That's sick. So if I was going to start like my own escape room, is there some advice you would give me to like some things to avoid like in the beginning that like maybe a mistake you made in the early game?
Interesting. So to me, it's not necessarily about making mistakes. Let's see, how would I word this? It's not necessarily about the mistakes that you're making. It's just I wish that I was moving faster. Like I wish I had more capital, because like this is literally like bootstrap stuff, right? Like it's just a matter of like I wish I had more capital in the beginning to do what I wanted to do. Luckily, I can save on like programming, which is expensive, and I can save on like building things. But it's just a matter of capital. Like I wish I had more capital, like provided somehow that I could like move faster. The escape room itself, I'm actually pretty fortunate that it kind of just like worked. It's like, okay, this is my idea. Oh, it works. Like, this is great. Like, I kind of knew already going into it because I've been to, like, I've only done maybe, like, 5 since I've opened up. But before that, I've done a bunch.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, their speakers usually suck, so I'm going to put really good speakers in. And I put,
like the audio in the room.
Yeah, so, like, I already started, like, looking to see, like, the mistakes that they're making. So that way, when I make it, it's just automatically, like, at a higher tier. But they're really, it's just, I wish I had more capital when I started. Yeah. And I wish I had more business experience. Just, like, from the perspective of like it's fun though. Like it's hard to explain. It's not like a mistake. It's just like you have to learn everything. And it's like, man, I wish I could have learned that before. It's all like hindsight stuff, but like the journey to figure out all these little things, like, like to do this, you need to talk to an architect, and you have to do this, and then you have to get like fire code, and then like all this, like learning all that stuff to me was like fun though.
Just like on the business end of things, like becoming like a legal like, entity kind of thing.
100%, right? But yeah, that's not really like a mistake thing. If I was going to give advice, I'd say that you probably have to learn how to program really well, and you should probably create puzzles beforehand too. Creating puzzles is not easy.
Create some as a hobby, like on your spare time, just figure out how to make like a cool puzzle.
Yeah, definitely. I think people think it's a lot easier than it is. Yeah. Which is good, right? Yeah. Well, sort of. Yes. If I make it seem so seamless that it makes it like, wow, what the heck? Like, Yeah. I want people to like go through my escape and be like, how did they do that? Like that's kind of what I want.
Oh, dude, even me with like I said, like I have an elevated understanding of a lot of technological things. Like I'm pretty experienced with the electrical in a lot of facets of things.
You do like music stuff, right?
Yeah, and yeah, the music, but like I was saying, like with the bus and the solar and everything else like that. And I've even done like my own like soldering on some PCBs and stuff. Yeah, but there were some things in your room where I was like, how the hell does this even work? Like, this is some next level stuff, dude. But then there's like other things that like similar to that DeWalt drill over there that once you open something up, I'm like, that's so funny. It's crazy. Like, have you ever gone to a room where you were like, I think I know how they did that, and that's janky?
All the time. Like I mentioned before, it's like they found this on eBay, or they're using this one component that's like pretty popular in the industry, and that's like.
Can you give an example, like something specific?
I could, but like it's one of those things where it's like, it's like a big filter.
Yeah.
Like the first filter is like, can you make cool sets? Can you make cool puzzles? Then it kind of filters up and it's like, okay, like, well, what can you do? Can you use like electronics, or is it all just analog stuff? Like some really good escape rooms are all analog. Like, don't get me wrong, but those are hard because then you have to be good at making sets and making good puzzles. Yeah. So like it's like the triangle, like quality time, whatever.
Yeah.
Quality time money, but you can tell. You've done a bunch too.
Yeah,
I feel like you can just
start to tell. I feel like I've done about the same amount as you, maybe a little less.
Like, okay, like I know exactly how you view this business, and I see what you're doing with this, and I see like what your next steps are. Like, I view this as a very like long-term kind of thing. Yeah, which is why that I'm building this like whole story out. Yeah, so
yeah. That's pretty cool.
There are things that I can spot immediately and know that what that is. It's like, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah. Give me an example. Give me an example.
It's like, like you press a button and something happens.
Oh, okay.
It's like
and it's just like a simple circuit.
Yeah,
like you're literally this is
super-
connected to a 9-volt, and
Yep.
it like makes that thing pop.
Yep.
Like yeah.
But like
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like I know where you got that. I know what
Yeah.
you did with that.
Yeah.
It's still impressive, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're still making
It's
a
still
business,
cool that they're doing.
but it's
yeah.
kind of like I know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's like the next level where it's like, oh, like now not only did you make this like escape room, but now you've incorporated like media and stuff into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like my friends in Boston, big shout out to Nico and Marie at Red Fox Escapes, by the way. Super cool people, changed my life, seriously. So I greatly appreciate you guys. So Nico and Marie in Boston, they do things differently too, and Hatch does too. But like you do a room like Hatch or something at Red Fox, you're like, interesting. It's
Can
like
you give me like an example of like something that's specific about them that maybe like you've never seen in another escape room?
Hatch to me was totally unique in the way that they integrated the story and that you played through the movie.
Oh, so it was really immersive as well.
Yeah, but it was like different kind of immersive. I didn't feel like I was in it. I felt like an observer, even though I had to do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nico and Marie just make good escape rooms in general, but they have a couple actually out there. They just have like, they're a lot more like, I feel like traditional, but I feel like they do a traditional escape room at the highest degree.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard to explain. It's one of those things where like you need to have like, I guess, experience doing a lot of escape rooms. It's for me, it's hard to put my finger on it, but it's one of those things where if I see it, it's like, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Like I know what that is. In fact, like I'll be able to tell you how you made it.
Yeah.
Like it's like really like basic things. It's like, it's a difference between building something and then buying something pre-built.
Yeah. No,
Like you built out the bus in here. Like no other bus would be built out like this.
No, not quite.
Yeah. So it's like, it's that kind of thing. Like I can look around and be like, oh, that's interesting how you did that. Like it's the next like tier.
Yeah.
Like you could buy a pre-made bus that you could like live in and stuff, but like it's not the same.
It is, dude. And it's crazy because we're on this topic. I've been because of I've already made this announcement out there that I am going to be selling the bus in the next couple weeks here, due to the situation. Check out that video, last one I posted up here. And I've been because I was joining a lot of forums to post like my ad to sell it. I'm seeing a ton of people selling their stuff, and I'm looking at like a lot of the stuff that they did as well, and I'm like, oh man, like that's so pointless to do like that in a bus, because it's like, are you really gonna use that on the road? Like you're doing like a family of 3 and you have like some amenity that just doesn't make sense. Like
I mean, they might have done it for like the challenge, or like they might have done it because they think it depends on your point of view too. Like are you like utilitarian or whatever?
Yeah, I'm very like
utilitarian.
100%, dude. I'm always looking at like I explained in the video that I just made about my last Bard log number 7. Check that one out. I talk about getting rid of the bus and like my strategy behind building a lot of the things. And for me, if it wasn't going to be something that was going to be a permanent fixture, I was looking at ways to just completely avoid paying for it. If I could just like find a way to just make it like out of like free stuff that I could easily come across. And a great example of something that is a permanent fixture that was also something I freely came across, I'll give 2 examples. So the shoe rack behind you, that is purpose built and perfectly fit there, but it's from wood that I got on Craigslist, and also from a dresser that like fell apart in here that I like salvaged some of the wood to make
plywood too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised with the way that you made it.
Yeah.
But
And then another example is the mounting rails that the solar panels are on. They're not designed for solar panels.
Things are there?
No, these are actually for air conditioners.
I think I saw that when you did the regular car reviews.
Yeah, we were talking about them. I think Brian from RCR commented like, if you have those things dangling down, like it's totally a hazard for your head. And I can confirm I've hit my head on those damn things a few times, and the air conditioners when they were there. So people ask me like, oh, why don't you leave the air conditioners? I'm like, you don't understand.
They take up 90% of the space.
Yeah, it's like they take up mad space.
I can't even stand up.
Yo, for real, dude. It's a hassle. We just want to address some of these comments. So, is there a piece of tech that you haven't utilized yet, but you want to? Like, is there something out there that you really are looking at?
Yeah, so I thought something that was really cool was hologram, so I built one and put it in the
Oh
lobby.
yeah. You ever see those like infinity mirrors? Like, what's your
Yeah, those
opinion
are
on
pretty
that?
cool too.
Yeah.
They're cool. That's something that I've been toying with too, but it's one of those things where it's like I need to know the exact. I know I can make it. I need to know the exact moment I want to use it. It can't be used as a gimmick. It has to be used as like
an actual.
this is exactly when
thing.
this should be used.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few things that I want to utilize that aren't utilized yet. The next escape room is probably going to utilize quite a few of those things.
Can you give one example?
Is it like a two-way mirror where you can see in but you can't see out?
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
or the other way around.
Yeah,
you can't see in,
one way mirror. Yeah,
you can't see in but you can see out.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. So escape room is very challenging. Game room, good friends and family together. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, like actually, yeah.
Yeah, no,
it was pretty
doubt.
safe during the pandemic too. Like everyone was in the mask and like.
Yeah, and you probably have people coming in and out that are already. It's families and friends.
You're in there by yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like you go in by yourself with only your friends, and then you leave.
Yeah.
it's pretty safe.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me ask you this. This is an interesting question that I just kind of came up with, and I'm curious on your take.
42.
Yeah. So if you had, do you have any ideas for like an escape room that won't necessarily tie well into the Escape EXE lore, but maybe you have like a cool idea for like a magician one or something? Maybe like
I do.
Yeah. Can you tell me about like some ideas that you have with that?
The thing about Escape EXE, though, that I really like, that I built into the story on purpose, is that the company is so big that we can do time travel. We can teleport you. So, like, anything that I can come up with can fit into the story, too.
Oh, cool.
There's, like, the main path, and then, there could be, like, little sub-chapters, too, of the story.
Yeah, like Divergent stuff.
Yeah. There's one of the first escape rooms that I was going to actually open. Instead of Site 117, I was juggling between Site 117 and this, like, medieval room that I had come up with. But still had choices and stuff like that.
Oh, so time travel, medieval thing. Yeah.
Well, the thing about Escape EXE is that, we have these escape rooms that are simulations where oh yeah, good job, test subjects like this and this, and then there's escape rooms where it's like they're real life but they're not real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we can simulate things. So Escape.exe executable.
Yeah.
So like we're running computer simulations.
Oh yeah.
So that's the tie there.
Yeah.
So we can get away with doing basically anything like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. The thing right now, though, is that at the physical location, everything has to be basically a part of the story, and everything has to have multiple ways to win.
Yeah.
So that's a huge hurdle that a lot of, I think, as far as I know, I'm the only escape room that does this right now. And I know why, because it's extremely difficult. It's just, like, imagine if Neo Tokyo was just one path. Like, I could have used the other, you know what I mean? It depends on what you're trying to do. But, yeah.
You're the only one that does what?
Like multiple paths, multiple endings.
Multiple endings in the
Everything's
same
tied
room
together.
kind of thing. Yeah.
There's runs that are like loosely tied together, like it's in the same universe, but not quite like this.
Yeah. There was one that I did in Vegas where there was two endings and
usually those endings are contrived though. Like they're not really like real true endings. Like it's just like, oh, you did it, therefore you leave out this door, but like no matter what you still leave out the same door.
Yeah.
Whereas with my stuff, like it literally is completely different. Like you'll see different puzzles.
Yeah.
And you'll have the room feels different.
Yeah. The one that we were doing, I remember it was like a haunted cabin thing, and they had
It's always haunted.
Yeah, and it wasn't haunted. It was a serial killer's cabin.
Serial cabin.
Yeah, it was a serial killer's cabin, and he was coming back, and you could hear him on the radio. It was one of the better ones that I've done actually, but I guess the very ending, like where you kind of have a hint that there's going to be another path, is kind of janky because it was just like.
They probably threw it in at the very end.
Yeah, it was like one of these things. It was like a foot on a chain. Like it was like a foot prop. Like someone had their foot like sawn off, like the Saw movie.
Yep.
And it was just like this. What does this have to do with like? Let's just like we're running out of time. We just gotta go because it was just me and Brian.
It's hard to add a lot of the story elements into the escape room too. That's one of the big challenges is discovering the story as you play through it. In Neon Tokyo, you discover the story if you're working more on the links, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but
that's cool.
But yeah, I could see that. I've had people tell me like, oh, like they did this escape room, and they always ask, like, well, we did the other thing. It's like, we just tell you good job, like in German or something. It's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
well, like, good job. Like, okay.
That's cool.
But like with my stuff, like it literally is different. Like it's not the same.
So can you give me like some ideas of how you keep the same people coming back? Like I'm sure, like I'm a perfect example. Like, like what are some strategies you use to keep like recurring customers?
Well, so for me, I think the most important thing is building a really good product, I guess, product or service.
Mm-hmm.
The question I ask is, if I were to make an escape room, what would I make? This. I would make this. Mm-hmm. Would I do my own escape room? Yes, I would love to do my own escape room, but I can't. I know all the answers. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things where it's like, would I like to do this escape room? Yes. Okay, then if I can make the best possible escape room that I would do, then somebody else surely has to have the same tastes that I do. So I just make the best possible thing that I can with the resources that I have to make the most immersive experience that I can, with the most amount of things to do, right? There's a lot to do. So if you're really into escape rooms, you're going to go into the escape room thinking maybe you'll get out in 30 minutes, but you don't. There's so much to do that the hardcore players who really like the puzzles and get to see the way that I formulated them, they'll come back over and over again because they can see different elements of the room depending on what they do.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. So the way that I hook people in is, one, make a good product. Two, I mean, everything is part of one big story, right? So it's kind of like some people love the mystery idea of it. Like some people love the story, some people love the escape room itself just to see what I built, and then some people love like the puzzles themselves. Like it depends. There's so many different types of people, and then there's people who just want to go and have like a good time with their friends.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
So those people too, but they have a good time because it's like hilarious and like, you know, Gavin or KT, like the whole, you know what I mean? Like you're doing all that stuff, so it's like it's fun. It depends. We really see that's the other thing too. We really cater to each group. Like it's not just the same every time. It's like, okay, this group, like, okay, they said they were beginners, this and that, like, and the room will change, like depending on like what you're doing. Yeah.
That's cool, man. What's like the youngest like group of
we had a group of like 10-year-olds go through.
Yeah.
Well,
how did that go? Yeah, they had a blast.
Because we have like different ways to get around it. We have like super clues and stuff like that. Because like little kids, like they just want to feel like they did something. Yeah. So it's like you need to know your target audience, right? And escape rooms are one of those things where it could be like, you know, adults who love to play like Dungeons and Dragons or something. Yeah. And like they love puzzles and they love stories. And then it's also just like, hey, I'm bored. Like I want to do this. Or like I'm on a date. We actually have, speaking of dates, we actually have a special specific game mode just for 2 players called the Duos Challenge. So it's a 75-minute escape room instead of a 60-minute escape room. That's really intense. Yeah. We had a guy ask, he did Neon Tokyo with his, I guess, female friend at the time. And then he came back and he called me early. He was like, hey, dude, like, I want to ask this girl to be my girlfriend. I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, yeah, let's do something. So in the room?
Tell me about it.
It was really, really cool. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, I love to do that kind of stuff. So he called me up. He should have called me a couple days before, but like real quick in like 30, 40 minutes, I was like, oh, yeah. So we real quick whipped something up. And at Site 117, like, you know, the decision part, like, it was kind of like built into that. So
dude,
and then
that's
he like
cool.
handed it. He's like, you need to read this, and she's like, and it was something along the lines of like, I don't know, like help Escape EXE and like work together as like a team, like boyfriend or girlfriend. It was like we really.
Oh like, yeah, like you sold the simulation. It's like we're gonna do.
It was part of the lore.
That's so cool, dude. Oh man, I feel cool. Like that guy probably tipped you guys or something. That's awesome.
He really appreciated it.
Yeah,
and like it's cool to watch. Like when I watch people go through the escape room, like I want them to win. I'm not like, oh, got you. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that like, you know, some when people go through escape rooms and stuff like that, like other escape rooms, if people go through an escape room and they don't quite get out in time, they just like scrap entire puzzles and just make them easier. That's not my philosophy. I take puzzles and I make them better. So there's kind of like a difference there too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember like when we were beta testing, as an example, like something that you were kind of doing there.
You played the ultra difficult version.
Oh, for sure.
There's like different versions. So you played like super hardcore, like you're gonna love escape. Like if you are like. Yeah.
But I remember
surgical
like
precision.
Going through that, I remember like we were kind of strategizing like here's what I thought was difficult about this, And I feel like in your head, you're just like,
that's not
like,
even, I'm like looking for this thing and you're like, oh, no, I'm like,
yeah. But it's just like you said, like it's not about scrapping the idea. It's like, I need to make this better because it's not as intuitive as I thought. So let me like make it more intuitive.
Don't make it easier, just make it better.
Yeah.
Like, there's a big difference there in like the way that you think about it. It's like, I'm not making this puzzle easier. I'm making it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just making it more like digestible. Yeah.
Depending on the puzzle. Because there's different types of people. So like,
of course,
even within the escape room itself, I try to create puzzles that are good for different varieties of people.
Yeah.
So like, like kinetic intelligence or whatever, they have like the different intelligences.
Yeah.
It's like, if you like to move things, play this. If you like to think about things, go over here.
Yeah.
If you're analytical, do this. If you want to like look around for things, go do that.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot going on.
Are there any escape rooms to your knowledge that have like really interactive stuff where you have to like climb and like stuff?
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff
a lot.
like that?
So,
because I know like most escape rooms are like, yo, if you can't lift it with your finger, don't do it. Don't climb on stuff. Yeah.
There are, but like the liability behind that is pretty crazy. So at Escape EXE, there's no like climbing or anything like that. We really want you to exercise your brain more than anything else. If we wanted to be like, don't touch, like the floor is lava, like those type of escape rooms exist, right? For people who are like physically fit. I don't know how many of those people there are.
Yeah.
It makes sense in like New York and like Boston and stuff because it's a huge city, right? So even if like 10% of people are like training and going to the gym and like able to like swing from ropes and do pull-ups and stuff, like you know what I mean? Like that's like a very specific type of crowd.
Yeah. I feel like it would be cool if you had like an escape room where I'm just thinking like it's like Gimli, Legolas, and like Aragorn, and it's just like everyone's got like a specific class, and like you like maybe you have your friend that's like not an athlete, like he's got to be the guy on the ground like doing like something specific, and then like your other friends doing like the acrobatic stuff. But so you need each piece. Like
we kind of do that already, right? But we do it kind of like as a mental thing.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I like to hunt for things. Okay, well you do that. Oh, I like to think about like somebody mentioned the wires and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, well if you're gonna think about things, like this is kind of like up your alley, like go over there and do this, and like people naturally kind of like filter out. The worst part is when you get like 6 people who all think exactly the same.
Oh yeah,
they get to that one puzzle and
stumbling
it's like,
over each other's feet and stuff.
But that's okay because that's why we have like our clue system and stuff like that. So everything's kind of like it's baked in.
That's cool.
But so yeah, like there are kind of classes that are already there. They're just not explicitly said.
Yeah,
it's not like, hey, you're analytical, go over here and do this.
Yeah,
it's just it happens. Yeah, it happens naturally. That's like one of the coolest things too, just like watching the groups go through and like figuring out like, oh, this person's kind of like that person's like calling the shots.
Yeah. For
like
sure.
That's so cool. I love watching people go through the escape rooms. I kind of have like a little mini psych background.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's that mean?
I have a psych minor.
Oh, do you? Okay, fair enough. I was like,
literally just a mini psych background.
Okay, fair enough.
I was gonna psych major and I was like, wait, there's no money in this.
Exactly.
So I just took a whole bunch of classes in psych just like for fun.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a minor.
It has to help with the business aspect of things though. It seems like you have a pretty good idea of how people are consumers or whatever.
I think that's one of those things. So it's like, well, do you believe that leaders are born or do you think that they're like trained, right? So it depends, I think, on how you view things. I think a lot of the things are like you either get it or you don't. So you either understand how this works or like you don't. Like, you know, you can teach someone to play chess, but like, can you teach them the strategy and the tactics? Like maybe you can teach them like an AI, like, oh, they move the pawn over here. It's like, well, how do I react to this? It's like, well, the most opportune reaction is this, right? So like they're reactive. They're not like innovative. So like the innovative thoughts is like, is that something, can you teach something to be innovative? You know, so it's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory of things. I remember I was talking to Brian about
Brian.
Yeah, we were talking about like music because I am not classically trained in music per se.
Music is just a way to talk, I feel.
Yeah.
You just talk through your instrument.
Yeah, and he knows how to play piano incredibly. He can play some awesome stuff. He can play some like really incredible stuff, and the way he learns is way different than the way I learn. And one thing he said is like I'm like, it sucks that I can't improvise like I can. Like he can't improvise the same way that I can.
It's just different ways.
And it's just like, and it's so interesting to me because I'm like, from my perception of like if I walk in a room, it's easy. it's easy to display competence in music, but like
I can see that, yeah.
like in like at a moment's notice,
Just like Wonderwall.
But yeah, exactly. But
Just whip it
once
out.
I sit down with you and it's like, okay, now let's
jam.
interact. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's start jamming.
Yeah.
And then you can start to see like, oh, you actually are not very creative. You know how to play what you can like learn,
jukebox.
but you can't. Yeah, exactly.
See, I don't know. See, in terms of music, like one of my best friends is like in a
Yeah.
band and stuff. Like he played a music fest, and like he does jam sessions. Like he will like go to people and like, to me it's like just watching two people have a conversation with their instruments. Like they know the scales and like they can, in their head, they can just instinctively know like what note should come next.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like people who are like classically trained and stuff like that, like I guess Brian, he must know how to like read music and do all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I guess
And he's
just
really good.
He's just maybe never explored that facet. But then
Yeah.
again, it's like, again, do you think that leaders are born? Do you think they're trained?
I
Like
think
nature
I
versus
think
nurture.
yeah, 100%. I think it's a combination of both. At the end of the day, it kind of comes back to that. What do you call it? Like a
Destiny.
no. It's I'm trying to remember how this saying goes. It's something to the effect of hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. I can see
Yeah.
that.
So like, if you're born with it, someone can grind and become better, and that's how you have people that come from the slums and become millionaires. You know what I mean? Otherwise, that
Yeah.
wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain
yeah.
things, right? Like you can't be like a 5-foot basketball player, right?
Yeah,
You probably
of
wouldn't
course.
get too far in the NBA.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right? Because you could
Yeah.
probably be really good. It's just that
Yeah.
they're just
Like maybe your precision and shooting is really
yeah,
good,
like
but
maybe
the
you're
other
really, really
facets
good.
are-
But
yeah.
if someone's 7 feet tall and they're just like,
It's just
like you're not
yeah.
gonna
There's-
do
there's-
anything
yeah,
about it.
You can't
So,
lie.
like-
You can't lie about physics. You know.
So it's like, okay, well, you're really talented and skilled, but it just so happens that like the cards you were dealt, like you can't quite use your
Yeah.
toolkit to your advantage.
100%. Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is a little bit of both. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think it definitely has to do with both. And it depends on the thing. Like you said, like there's some things where, you know, even if it's funny, I'm not gonna go into this so much, but there's certain things in like jujitsu where,
I could see the same thing.
yeah,
too.
it's like
Yeah.
you want to spend so much time focusing on this move, that's not a high percentage move, but you'll be the guy that's good at it. But you'll have a higher win percentage if you just get good at the meta. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
meta-
just, you know.
That's kind of how I went through college.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm a meta gamer, right?
Yeah.
So like I meta everything, which I think kind of hurt me at the end because like I didn't go to school to like learn things. Like I went to school to beat the test and to beat the professor, so I can get my degree. So it was like, okay.
Can
like,
you give me an example of what you mean by beat the
man.
professor?
Like I know what the professor's looking for. Like I know where they get their stuff.
Your game.
So it's like,
yeah.
what is he gonna ask me or he or she? It's like, and then I just know. It's like, okay, this is gonna be on the exam, or yeah. So it's a little bit different way of viewing things. Yeah.
Can you give me an example of like how you can pry that out of a professor?
I mean, they kind of make it obvious.
Yeah.
Right? Like after the first test, you kind of like know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends
It's
on what they're
interesting the
looking
way
for,
you're
too.
studying the test. Too.
Yeah, I'm not
yeah.
like yeah. I think it burned me a bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Why? Because you
Because
think like you didn't
because I did
actually
really
learn
well
some
on the
shit?
yeah. I did really well on the exams, but like
But yeah, like you didn't walk away with this
yeah.
skill.
well, I learned something, right? I learned a specific skill.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like how much of the stuff that you're like learning it actually like sticks. I'm a very big proponent of like just doing things, just go do it. Like you can learn about this all day, and it won't make any difference if you didn't do it.
How many?
Because
How
like
many
people ask
idiots
me,
have you met with master's degrees?
Too bad. Well, that depends, right?
Yeah.
Because like you could like kind of like you can kind of like flip that too, right? And it's like, okay, well, like what do you mean by that, right? Like because like
Yeah.
you said, someone could be technically competent at like playing the piano, and be like, holy
Yeah.
crap, like how'd you play that? But then it's like, well, can you apply that? It's
Yeah. I worked with a person at my old job that was like a server admin, but did not know how to rack a server.
like, well,
And
I
it
guess
was
you don't
like
have to.
well, I mean, but it's one of those things where if you've built a server, like you've held the physical server in your office, but you've never actually deployed it into the rack.
Too good for that.
Yeah, it's like, what do you? What?
It's
is
all
going
VR.
on
It's
here?
all virtual.
It's
dude.
like you've been working in IT like longer than I've been able to drink, and I've done this in my first year on the job.
It's virtual stuff. I'm pretty
It's
sure you just live in
crazy.
the virtual world
Yeah,
with like cloud and stuff like that.
yeah.
Outsource your servers.
it makes me mad sometimes, man. I feel like
What?
just like the corporate world and how you can weasel your way around stuff so
You ever hear of the
easily.
Peter Principle?
No, tell me about
The
this.
Peter Principle is the idea that you will be promoted to your highest level of incompetence, right?
Of incompetence.
So basically, it's like, wow, I think I had this conversation similarly with Brian before too, where it's like, okay, you have like two people in front of you, right? It's like you're digging holes all day. And it's the one guy is like really, really good at digging holes. And the other guy is kind of like okay at digging holes. It's like, well, who should you promote? Right? Well, who should you promote? And then a lot of people say like, oh, well, the guy who's the best hole digger because like he's the absolute best. So like, therefore, like since he's so good at this, like he should go to the next role.
Yeah.
But it's like, wrong, because like might have a different skill set. It's like, I would really have to weigh my options here. It's like, dude, you're like a really good hole digger, but this guy over here, like maybe digging holes isn't his passion. Like maybe he's better at motivating you to dig 110%, you know? So there's like something like that where you would raise this person up and out and be like, oh, you were really good at this specific skill. Let's raise you up a tier. And then eventually you get to the tier where you're like, yeah, like this is my job, but like I suck at it.
Yeah.
like that person just can't do it because it's not their skill. So it's like the Peter Principle is you get promoted. It's like, oh, you're really good at digging holes. It's like, maybe you'll be a good manager. Nope. And then you just sit as like a manager because you can't go back.
Oh yeah.
So like you're promoting people out of jobs that they're good at into future positions that they might not be good at. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite things.
No,
and then they're 80-20
that makes it. Yeah. Well, I think the 80-20. What is that? 80 like 20% of the people do 80 of the work. Yeah. There's another theory I've heard from a guy on the podcast. It was Phil from Vigor Training that we had on the podcast, and he said there's 80 I might be wrong with the number breakdown, but it's either 70 or 80 10 10 or like 70 20 10 or something like that, but it's like 80% are 9 to 5 average folk, 10% are shitheads, and the other 10% are gold, like they're the elite.
It's close to 80-20.
Yeah,
they just added they added another tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the dog shit tier, here's the god tier, and then here's, the pleb tier.
There's nothing wrong with being pleb tier.
Yo.
Some people like it.
Like, man. Yeah, I mean, you need, everyone's got passions for things, and sometimes the passion is, raising your family. You know what I mean?
Like the guy who's digging holes all day, like he just really likes digging holes.
Yeah.
Like, just let him dig holes.
100%, man. Like, dude, like on my spare time,
there's literally nothing wrong with that.
There's some things like I've been spending tons of time. Recently, I got like a MIDI controller that's got like I've been trying to get into recording music and things like this.
Okay.
And I've literally just spent hours and days sitting there going like, next sound, because I have like thousands and thousands of sounds
in your DAW.
So
yeah,
exactly. It's in the basically it's like a plugin for the DAW. But anyway, sure. It's Analog Lab by Arturia. It's awesome. But yeah, like I'm literally like pounding through. Like, do I like this noise? Oh, I do like this noise.
Yeah, you're like looking through the samples.
All right, I'll save that one. I'll go to the next one.
I've played in FL Studio a little bit.
No, dude, I don't know anything about FL Studio, but this one, like, what happens is, like, I'll find a noise, and I'm like, oh, this is that thing from my dream of 8 years ago where the noise is like this, and then I'll, like, spend the rest of that time, once I find the sound, creating, like, the foundation of a song idea that I have.
I can relate to you on
Yo,
this.
100%. So, you know what I mean? Like, no, I can't put that on a resume, you know what I mean?
I mean, you could once you create the piece. Part of your portfolio. Yeah. I guess, but art is different.
Yeah.
Art is different.
But it's the same thing with like raising a family. Like, you can't put like I make like, I mean, unless you're a dog trainer, you can't be like, oh, my boy's the best boy. You know.
Actually,
what I mean?
you probably could. You could, like,
it's all about
if you're doing a good job
it,
raising your kid. I guess people would like your kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people should like the product of your parenting, I guess. I don't know. But there's nothing wrong with it. Like, different people like different things. For me, like the whole like self-improvement, like, oh, you should always strive to be better. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, sure, but like some people don't. It's like, whatever. Yeah. Just like they're the best at what they are, and like that's fine by them. Mm-hmm. Like there's no need to push to the next tier. It's whatever. Like, Call of Duty, right? Yeah. I never prestiged in Call of Duty, ever. Why would I replay the game? So I would always hit, like, max tier in Call of Duty, and I would, like, never prestige. Some people do that. I don't care.
why would you prestige?
I don't know.
Get something out of it?
You get a prestige.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah,
Don't you when you prestige? Don't
you like
you just
lose everything and you restart
yeah, and
the
you
game.
have to re-get all your
so why
equipment
wouldn't
back
you
or
do that?
whatever. Yeah, I remember like Titanfall did that.
That's the same developer. Sort
Yeah,
of.
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I think
It's just different strokes for different folks.
different
right?
strokes for different folks. But I think there's something to say about manifesting your greatness. You know, there's that one quote from
I could talk about this all day. By
oh
the way.
yeah, dude, let's
If
rabbit
you
hole
hit
time.
philosophy, dude.
Yeah,
like,
let's go.
Yeah, I'm good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong on this. Vedinian, if you're out there, correct me if I'm wrong on this.
Genetic.
I think it's I think it was Socrates who said this, and the quote goes something to the effect of, "It's a shame for a man to go his entire life without ever knowing the potential of his youth," or something to this effect, right? And I'm a huge believer in that. I think there are layers to the lifespan of a human where the average person, right? I'm not talking about like if you're a paraplegic or something, like obviously you're never gonna know what kind of runner you would have been.
Maybe.
But I think
Give it
there's
a couple years.
Yeah, there's something to be said about give it a couple years, right?
No,
The
technology's
technology is crazy. But I think like for an example is like with my own son, I can say about this. I personally like my dad always really liked watching like Sunday football. Like I don't know if you like football.
I don't know anything about sports.
Not a big fan
All I
of
knew was
football.
quarterback.
Yeah. That guy
And receiver.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever they do. And you know that was literally my perception of football. Like I don't really know how it works that well and I'm not interested in it, but my dad's like hella passionate about it. But then I can come up with like an example of something that I'm really passionate about, and I could identify that because I was aware like this is something that doesn't click here. I'm aware of those things with my son, and it's an interesting thing when they happen. Like an example I can give is like Jiu-Jitsu is like maybe Jiu-Jitsu is not the best example because I've taken him to Jiu-Jitsu and he does enjoy it. But I guess the difference here is like I aspire to become like a great martial artist that's capable of defeating other martial artists, right? Like maybe that's not his bag, you know what I mean? Another thing is like comic books is a perfect example, actually. I used to read comics.
About comics.
Oh, dude, look at the ceiling, dog.
My friends are like, oh, like Batman, like he's Marvel or like DC. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
like,
that's so funny that
didn't
you're
even
not.
watch
I
the
would not have
Avengers.
taken you for that, especially with like the Escape EXE like design things. Like
My sister made that.
Yeah?
The logo. Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's an EXE. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of like the logo hidden in itself.
Yeah, I like it.
She's
I
really
like
cool.
that. Yeah, that's really cool. That is exactly what it is. I was gonna like.
I was looking at
stream,
the overlay.
But yeah, like comic books are a great example. Like when I was a teenager, I loved to read comics, but my son will read stuff, but he's not one that like he likes to watch in the comic book movies, but he's not into like
Just
the cartoons
visual.
and stuff. And it's just interesting to me where I'm like, man, I'm not gonna force that on you, but like this is a resource that's there that I thought I was gonna pass down because I thought like comic books were just this timeless like cool thing for little boys to have.
Here, son. Here's my horse. Why are you driving a car?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the cartoons are better than the comic books. I don't know. I mean, some people say that they're like, oh, the book was so much better than the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I like the movie.
But yeah. So tell me a little bit about like what are some life philosophies that have gotten you to this point in your life where you've been as successful as you are?
I think for me, it's just my favorite thing is if he can do it, then I probably can too. Especially when it comes to like trade stuff, right? I know that if I dedicate my time into it, I'm probably going to be able to do it. I won't be able to do it to that degree or whatever, but all I need to do is do it just enough that's better than like I would say like 80%.
Yeah.
Like once you do that, I think it's pretty cool. So that's kind of one of the main philosophies that fuel me. It's like I'm looking at someone like the other day, the water heater broke in my house. I'm like, how does this work? I have no idea how this works. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, oh, it's it's a loop. It goes to this coil. The coil heats up and it heats up the water. I'm like, okay. Like some plumber came over. I'm like, so like what's broken with this? Like he did some like resistance testing and I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Like he's checking the resistance. And, like I'm like learning. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, oh, so how much is it for you to like fix it? He's like, oh, it's like $500. I'm like, okay, bye. So then it's just like, I'd rather spend an hour or two of my time to go on YouTube and be like, how does this work? Oh, that's how it works. Drain the water heater, get a free coil or like a $15 heating element, whatever.
Yeah.
Drain the thing out, put the thing in, flick the breaker back on, like you're good to go. Like, and like plumbing and stuff like that and electrical. Like if someone can do this, then I can probably do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's why I started the escape room. They're like, wow, that's just pretty cool. But if they did this, then I can probably do this too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, I also just so happen to have the computer programming plus building stuff out of wood. So it's like two really weird things that kind of exist at the same time.
Where did you get the wood stuff from?
My dad like flipped houses and stuff. So like I watched him do all
that's
this
awesome.
Stuff. Yeah. So I was around power tools my like whole life.
Yeah. That's
so, like,
cool.
I'm pretty confident like using whatever branded power tool there is out there.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
What's Oh man, what do we got? We got
nukes
coming in. Yeah. No, that's actually
that was a motorcycle.
the fire. That's like the fire engine thing noise.
Whatever.
What's the coolest thing you've ever built out of wood?
The hologram is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The whole all of Site 117 is basically built out of wood.
Yeah.
And so is Tokyo too.
Yeah.
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 Like the ramen shop's basically built entirely out of wood.
Like, you use like bamboo and stuff?
Yeah, we did. There's bamboo on the antique shop. But yeah, it's all built out of wood.
Yeah.
Like even the cool props inside of 117, it's built out of wood, and then I skinned it with like this like really expensive plastic stuff, so it looks like it's like metal/glass. So yeah, it's all just like, how am I gonna build this? And then like I spend time like building it. Yeah. I guess it also helps if you can like think of the way that like mechanisms work. Because like when I was a little kid, that's like what I would look at. It's like I would take like little toy cars and be like, how does this work?
Yeah.
Just, like, rip it to pieces.
Oh, for sure. Like remote control cars and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to do a similar thing.
I don't know anything about electricity, but I'm still like ripping this thing to pieces. Like, oh, if this gear spins and it's like this gear's attached like this, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. I remember when I figured out how a flashlight worked. Like that was like a huge.
It closed a circuit.
That was exactly, dude. Yeah. Like that was a huge brain blast moment for me.
I actually had a very similar moment because I was doing a whole bunch of like analog stuff.
Yeah.
Where I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't make this so complicated, because whenever I can keep something simple, I'll just keep it real simple.
Yeah, of course.
And I started like looking at like, maybe I'll just make the escape room like this particular puzzle. Like I'll play with the idea of making it like an analog kind of thing. And then I started getting to like gates and like XOR gates and like OR gates and AND gates. I started building these things and I'm like, I think I understand computer processors now.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those like weird like clicks. It's like, oh,
yeah,
that's what happens in there. Yeah.
That's super cool. I want to know exactly what you're referring to.
We could talk after.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I was using like relays and stuff.
Yeah. We got another comment here from Vedinian here. Genetics play into how capable you are and what your body and mind are achieve. Essentially, bigger cup being born with, less smaller cup. Yeah, fair enough, dude.
It depends. I guess it depends on how you view genetics and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that there's a big component in that. I mean, that's a super controversial topic to even go into right now. Like, I don't know how much you want to go into that, but I can say, like, this hairline, I didn't make this hairline recede, dude.
It's genetics.
You know what I mean? There's certain things that, you know, if you see your grandpa has it and it's happening into you, it's no coincidence.
But who knows? Maybe there's some weird chemical.
Yeah, maybe what's something in the water.
The shampoo that you use.
Yeah.
Like
what were you saying?
I was gonna say like there was like baby powder or something.
Yeah.
That like, what was that stuff? Like asbestos or something in it?
Oh, asbestos.
Yeah. So like
God,
in that particular year of your life, it turns out that this chemical did this thing to you, and like nobody knew about it until like 10 years later.
That stuff's so crazy. Like, you know when during the Cold War, the governments were looking for ways to do nuclear testing.
Sure.
Like it's interesting. I heard on a podcast actually called American History Tellers, which I highly recommend.
What do they talk about?
So like they were talking. The one thing that they were talking about is they would try to get into contracts with like mining companies where it's like
to blow up mines.
Exactly. Like, oh man, those mines, like that's gonna take so much TNT. Let us just nuke it. It'll be so easy. And they ended up contaminating tons of resources.
But they don't know about it.
Yeah. Well, they knew like after like a few years, they're like, oh, all of this stuff that like you were gonna be able to mine is now like effed. So it's crazy, dude. It's so crazy.
I mean,
That's why it's one of those things.
There's
Like
pictures of like people throwing off like containers, right? I think even videos of just like radioactive waste from like the U.S. like military, I guess. It's like kicking it overboard like right into the ocean. Like it's like, well, the ocean's infinite, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. It's like, dude, it's one of those things where I don't know, man. I want to take as much agency and responsibility over my own life as possible, and the less people tell me what to do, the better, I think. And it's such
Some people like it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it comes down to. Is the fact of the matter is, I have a very, very like vast minority mindset, I think, on that, because most people don't give a shit about like social media is like a perfect example. Like they don't give a shit about like their privacy and like them being tracked by like these companies and all of this other stuff. Like the vast majority of people like would rather have the convenience than be concerned by these things.
Maybe,
and
it's
I dude, 100%. It's analytics.
It's like one of those things. It's like it's a sweeping generalization. It's like, okay,
it is, but it's like
maybe they don't know about it. Like maybe that's whatever.
And that's like it's gross negligence, I think. Then where it's like the resources are out there for you to be aware of this, and it's in the mass media. Like
just
the big news has mentioned that this is a problem. No one cares about it enough, though.
There's a lot of things like that.
Yeah, and of course, and I'm sure there's some things that I'm, like I try not to say like willful ignorance, because
I was thinking
I try to like because I take responsibility for most things. Like even like the bus thing is, as much as this is like a crazy lifestyle, I have to take way different approaches to being responsible about my life in certain ways than like the layperson. Like in this thing, I need to worry about who's around, because if I'm parked somewhere near a school, it's not a good look for this weird bus to be around.
Yeah, it's true.
So you know what I mean? I'm always like actively concerned about this.
He's talking about a cup.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I could go on tangents of.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, right? But like, before you, there were people who were like pioneers. Like, I think there's like different like types of people that just like to do different types of things.
Yeah.
So it's like, before you, like, it's kind of like a nomadic lifestyle, right? So it's like, before you, they're like pioneers. Like some people are like, this is where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna plant my roots right here, and I'm not going nowhere. And then there's other types of people that are like, no, what's behind the mountain over there?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, go over there. I guess it's like a evolutionary strategy of like adaptation and like. Because if everyone's stuck in the same spot, it wouldn't work that way. So it has to be kind of built into us to have people that are willing to
push
be like,
the envelope 100%.
Like, what's over there?
Yeah.
What's this berry?
Yeah. Oops. 100%. Like, there's so many memes like about that. It's like one caveman eats berry, other caveman. Yeah. Oh man,
science.
Yeah, science is crazy.
It's probably leader caveman tells subordinate caveman.
Exactly. Well, like, do you have any cool ideas for integrating like
berries?
Berries into your like escape rooms? Do you have ideas for how you can put I'm trying to think of how to say this, like maybe you'll understand what I mean when I say like an ethical dilemma. Like I know that exists.
The medieval one that I was talking about. An ethical dilemma sort of exists in 117.
In one of them, yeah.
But I keep it morally ambiguous though on purpose.
Yeah.
But the one was very obvious. The medieval chamber that I was thinking of making, like that choice that you'd have to make, you'd make this choice, and then like later on you would discover like, oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, yeah, I like the idea of like, escape rooms to me are truly an art form. It's not just here's some stupid locks, here's some stupid puzzles. It's genuinely an art form to me. And I try to communicate like a message at the end of that kind of thing. Like at the end of Site 117, like there is kind of a message in there, There's actually 3 endings to that one, but I love the idea of having an escape room be much more than just a 60 or usually 30-minute like experience with like whatever. I think of it as an experience. I think of it as a movie. I think of it as something that you should like go into and then like leave with something like, oh, that was interesting because this, or like that was interesting because we did that. Like it's so much more than that. Like trying to think of like how that would compare to like a movie, because everyone watches movies.
Yeah, well, it's almost like one of those create your own story books.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah, I've heard of that too.
Yeah.
It basically is. It's a choose your own adventure, but I'm giving you like predefined paths to go through.
Yeah. I think like I'll give some examples of really fun puzzle games from like my childhood and stuff, like
Tomb Raider.
Not Tomb Raider wouldn't be one of my
Raider.
top picks, but like Legend of Zelda, Resident Evil.
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Which one though?
Ocarina of Time for me.
I only played one really. It was the Wind Waker.
Oh really?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Wind Waker's the one with the clones.
The fish.
Oh, isn't there clones?
It was Game Boy Pocket.
Oh, dude, am I messing up? Chris, help me out here. Oh my God, I'm messing that up.
I have no idea.
The one with the one with Toon Link.
Zelda.
That is Wind Waker. It's got to be.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's got to be Wind Waker.
Yeah.
So, final answer. I'm locking it in. Come at me, Nintendo.
I think it was the Dream Eater, Dream Catcher, Link's Awakening.
I don't know.
Legend of
that
Zelda:
one.
Link's Awakening. I think is what it is. With the big fish.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Word. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Do you have like a video game that you think would be like a really cool theme for like an escape room? Like, what's the coolest one that you?
I would love to make like a Call of Duty escape room.
Really?
Yeah, that'd be so sick.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
It'd be a huge Call of Duty escape room.
You know what's a really cool thing that I heard?
With, like, paintball guns and stuff.
Paintball. Oh yeah, you'd be like interactive like that. You'd have to shoot. Would you shoot like bad guys? Maybe. Yeah.
Who's the bad guy?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It'd be so sick.
You ever think of like an escape room where you have like two sides against each other? Like
so there's battle escape rooms.
I've never heard of that actually.
That exists.
That's cool.
There was one that I saw that was like, what the hell is like a vampires and pirates? I think was a big meme at some point. So they had one like that.
Or no, ninjas and pirates. I thought it was.
Ninjas and pirates.
Yeah, I don't think it was vampires and pirates.
It's some meme.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was something like that like people compete. But then you have to find two people that want to compete, and then
I'm sure
it's
like,
niche. You know, it is. Yeah. It is. It's really specific.
Yeah,
that's why I don't make horror escape rooms.
The Call of Duty one would be really interesting. I think, like, I don't know if you're aware of these.
Of Call of Duty.
Well, these they have these Faraday cages that exist. That this is a real thing. I don't know if this is in Call of Duty, but I think it would be a really cool component for an escape room. But they have these Faraday cages. Basically, it's like a little portable Faraday cage, just like a little box, whatever. Like a think of like a what do you call it? A pelican case? You know what I'm talking about?
It's just wrapped in like copper.
Yeah, but like the brass wire, whatever. Anyway, so what they do is like in real life, what they'll do is they'll take like a terrorist's phone and put it in that so that if there's an IED around that's triggered by the phone, it can't radio
My immediate thought was just stealing cell phones and just throwing it in a phone.
But I was saying like that would be a cool component for like the thing. Maybe you have to like get the box open and then emit this and that like causes
you're
the
like
explosion.
An idea guy, like you're very creative. So like it makes sense why you create in music.
Yeah.
Like I can see this creative passion in you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
I appreciate that.
Like
man.
right away to me it's like I'm thinking about the escape room, like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And you're like, yo, like what if there was like this one specific thing? And I'm just like, that's cool and everything, but like what about the whole thing? See, like that's how I think.
I could draw like a whole idea with that. Like where would you take that? Where would you take that? Like maybe we just
So the first way that I would start off is like, okay, I'm gonna have like a Call of Duty themed escape room. Like, what am I gonna do? It's like, man, well it depends. And I'm like, it would be so cool if there was like some kind of like strategic or tactical thing that they had to do. Like maybe they won't get paintball guns. Maybe it's like a night mission or something, and they have to like gain access to this building, and there's guards and stuff. And if a guard sees you, they can like pull you out of the game.
Oh, cool. Dude, that's
more like Metal Gear Solid, but like you see what I mean? Like that's how I think of it.
What if
like, I think of
what if I want my money back if I got like caught too early?
They'll actually Call of Duty you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Maybe like you have to respawn and you have to like go through it again.
See, now you're talking about the mechanics.
Yeah, it's all about the mechanics for me. That's what makes a game playable, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
but
good mechanics.
So like it's interesting because like I would just make this big abstraction of like I'm going from here to here. Okay, cool. And then I would like think of different things to do along the way. And then once I figure out what they're gonna do along the way, then it's like, okay, so they're gonna do this first thing here, and they're gonna get captured by guards. What happens is they get, and then I do the things that you do, right? Yeah. Like I immediately start like it's like I have this whole abstraction, then I figure out what they're gonna do, what their end goal is. I create a whole story on what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do this, so that way it feels fun. And then if you're in this world of like trying to break into some stupid like prison or something, then you'd have things that are relevant to the prison.
To the prison, yeah. It's not just like,
the guards put a directional lock on the outside of the door here.
How
It's
many
like,
bats are over there?
yeah. Hey, can you count the bats real quick? Why? Because the lock needs the bats. Like, okay, cool. Thanks, dude. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, like, that's how I
so
think
funny,
of it.
man.
And then I think of the mechanics of, like, what are you doing in the game? Like, in Tokyo in the ramen shop, like, you're presented with this game, and you slowly discover, like, what you're trying to do. So the element of discovery is big for me. And then after that, then I would think of the, like, tiny little details of, like, okay, so you get captured. Like, what happens? Maybe you're out for 5 minutes. Like, maybe now you're playing for the other team. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Man, that's cool. I want to make an escape room now. You got me super hype on it.
It's tough, but it's easy. It's hard to explain.
I wonder if anyone's ever got a school bus and converted it into like a mobile escape room.
There's mobile escape rooms all over the place, like in
Yeah.
trailers and stuff like that. I don't know if there's a school bus specific. There probably is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. But there are mobile escape rooms that people convert, like it's just like a trailer or something.
Yeah.
And people do.
I'm gonna
things.
take like a ton of pictures before I leave the bus, and maybe one day we'll have to like build an abstract like themed like school bus escape room idea or something.
The magic school bus.
Yeah, 100%.
Miss Frizzle. But
Yeah,
it's not
exactly,
Miss
Miss Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle. It's like something different. Mr.
Yeah.
Fraggle.
Mr. Fraggle, yeah.
No longer copyright.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be like Mr. Frayed Hair or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's what that. Yeah, you're right. It's a hair reference.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my goodness.
Man. Good stuff though. I just want to let me just double check what time it is, just so we're tracking.
20:04.
20:04. Good to know. Yeah, good stuff, man. Is there anything that specifically that you wanted to dive into, maybe that you wanted to discuss with me? I know like we've talked about a ton of stuff in the past, but I don't want to rehash too much on the show if you want to not bring it up.
It doesn't. I mean, you're the host, right?
Yeah,
So, like, whatever.
for sure. Okay, so yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I'll do like
just
philosophy. Like, I mean, we
Yeah.
can talk philosophy all day.
Let me ask you a little bit about like cybersecurity in the modern day, because I know like I haven't been able to talk about this too much with a lot of people
Okay.
like lately. But like right now, like with the advent of like all of these like ransomwares and different crazy like developments that are coming out right now.
Yeah.
Like, do you have like what's your opinion on like the modern like threat landscape of things? Like, I know you have probably not worked in the field, like per
It's
se.
an interest to me. Okay?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where, man, this is definitely out of my like domain, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that it's going to be one of those things where, personally, for me to avoid something like that, I would probably place the liability onto somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be like a big consolidation. So I think that people are looking for, like, you know, what is the word? People with malicious intent are like doing things that are
threat
like
actors.
threat actors. Sure. Like I think they're going to be targeting bigger and bigger things. So I think, you know, something like Amazon with like their cloud, like I think that they should really focus on beefing up their stuff, and the beefier that they get, the more likely that I'll give something to Amazon. But then knowing that because it's so big and so beefy that it'll be a nice juicy target.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
that's
crazy
kind of what I think about that. It's not exactly my area of expertise.
Yeah.
there.
So what's your degree in, like, beside from the MBA and the minor?
So I have a minor in psych, I have a bachelor's of science in IT, so information sciences and technology.
Okay.
Integration, so like I can integrate technology. I didn't really learn that in my degree though. I learned that outside. And then I have a master's of business administration. Yeah, and then everything else is just dabble stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. The IST stuff that you had in the beginning, that was more about maybe network device stuff and not so much code centric, because you said you were learning to code.
I learned how to code in high school. I had a really good teacher.
Oh,
And like
that's cool.
He taught me like C++. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So my high school teacher was really like crucial because I learned how to code in high school, and then when I went to college, I was like, yeah, I know enough of how this works to make this work through college. To me, it's like if you're going to school to be a coder, you should already be coding. Like you should already be coding stuff on the side, because like you'll be going to school, I feel like, to learn other weird ways of coding, right? Like they're going to give you weird examples that you normally wouldn't have access to, and then your teacher's like supposed to coach you through it. That's my perspective on schooling. I don't know what people are necessarily getting out of it, But yeah, I knew how to program from high school. And then my degree was just kind of like a smattering is the word? Smothering? I don't know. Smattering of all kinds of like little random things that you'd encounter in IT.
Mm-hmm.
So like I took some programming, I took some project management. I'm also project management certified, but I took some project management stuff. It was how to integrate technology and work with people. So it's like a very weirdly interesting degree.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So there's like computer engineering, and then there's comp sci.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and then you have
computer
cyber,
engineering is like Coca-Cola, computer science is like Diet Coke, and then IT is like the Diet Sam's Cola.
Yeah.
So I took the Diet Sam's Cola approach.
Well, I have like, you know, Dr. Thunder. I have a specialized technology degree in network and networking and internet functionality.
I dislike networking so much.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's one of those.
It's all about the interface, honestly, dude. That's literally what it comes down to. It, like in my opinion, anymore. Putty is okay. Fuck Putty though. Like honestly, dude. Like once I got my hands on like some premium like enterprise GUI stuff, I'm like, God, why would you use anything less than this? It's oh god, I don't know, man. It's crazy. We're going into some super nerdy territory that's gonna get like people falling off for sure.
I would say it's geeky.
What's that?
It's geeky.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see the Venn
Geeky.
diagram?
Oh no! Tell me about it.
You probably have to look at it. Yeah.
Well, what are the categories?
It's like geek, nerd, and like dweeb or something.
Dweeb's
like that.
In the middle.
I think nerd is in the middle.
Nerd's
it's
in
like
the middle.
socially inept, like
Oh,
super concentrated, obsessive, intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is one of those things where like we're obsessed with it and like intelligent about it. So I guess it puts you in like the geek category.
Yeah. So the geek's the good one.
It's the one that's not socially inept.
Okay.
But by saying that, then that must mean that. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's funny. So tell me a little bit about like some of the games and stuff that you play and stuff. Because obviously you have to be a huge gamer to be as inspired as you are to create a game landscape that you've.
I wanted to make movies and stuff, so like, yeah, but yeah, I love video games too. So I grew up playing Super Nintendo and Super Mario. Then I jumped from Super Nintendo to PlayStation 2. I remember getting the PlayStation 2. Then I got a job and I bought my sister a PlayStation 2. So we would play together. So we played games like Delta Force Black Hawk Down. I loved that game.
Yeah.
Medal of Honor Rising Sun. That was my first online game on PS2. I love that game. That game actually exposed me to like people from like all over the world.
Yeah.
Because I guess the early games just didn't have like any like geo filters or anything like
Yeah,
that. Like they didn't care. They just like threw you in a server or whatever.
For real.
So yeah, that was really, really cool. So like I got exposed to people from like Denmark and like Netherlands and Canada. So I'm like 11 or 12 years old and I'm talking to these other kids who are like, "What? Your life is so different than mine. Like you speak another language, like me too." So it's like one of those like cool things.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, Medal of Honor Rising Sun, Delta Force Black Hawk Down. Then I hopped over to PS3 and it was just like Call of Duty and Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
That's all I played.
So you're an FPS guy for sure, right?
Only. Like that's it. That's like all I really play. Oh, I played like Jak and Daxter and Tomb Raider on PlayStation and
fair.
stuff.
You like the Resident Evil games?
No. I don't like scary stuff.
Dang. You don't like any scary stuff?
No, nothing. Why would I want to be scared?
I mean, you worked in IT,
scared,
dude.
I'd join like the military. But like, yeah, so like it's one of those things where it's like right after PS2, it went to PS3. PS3 was just Call of Duty, like Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
And then it was Rainbow Six Vegas. But Rainbow Six Vegas was really super cool. It's still one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
Because it was an FPS,
regarded,
but you can like lean up against walls.
Yeah.
Right. So like it gives you the tactical experience of like leaning up against walls and stuff like that. We were actually pretty good at Rainbow Six Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister was like number 6. We were supposed to compete in actually Las Vegas when Rainbow Six Vegas 2 came out. We were pretty good. My sister was number 6 on the leaderboards, and I was like number 25. And then we had a buddy that lived in London. We're like, dude, you need to fly out. He's like, dude, I'm 16. I'm like, no.
Figure it out.
Yeah. He's like, I asked my parents. They said no. It's like, damn
man.
it. Our dreams of like becoming like video game champions.
Dude,
has been
imagine
dashed.
if like there was like an opportunity to do that and your parents said no. Like I would feel like such a
well, I mean,
terrible parent.
but it's just like, hey, mom and dad, this guy on the internet and his sister, they live in America and they want us to go to play Rainbow Six in Vegas.
In Vegas.
What? No. Like, oh, and if we win, we'll win money. Oh, okay.
That kid, I feel like that kid.
My parents were actually all for it.
Yeah,
luckily.
that kid needs to work on his pitch skills. I think is really what it comes down to.
But yeah, so we did a lot of that, Rainbow Six, and then it went back to Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare, and then I don't remember the timelines anymore. It gets fuzzy. And then like I remember Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 came out and I hated it because they changed the game up.
Oh yeah, Modern Warfare 2 was like the big one.
Yeah,
and that was where like that was where shit talking was at its peak.
World at War came out, and then Black Ops 1, and then Modern Warfare 3. And I remember Modern Warfare 3, they removed the big element of the game and they started focusing more on like run and gun. So they gave like SMGs and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm done playing this. And then I just didn't touch games.
What was missing like that
they just didn't. I think of the map design. So the map designs before, I feel like they had like a large outer ring so people could play like long distance, kind of like a middle ring for like the AR kind of build. So it's like the long and short, and then like they had like close range areas where you could like SMG and like run and gun. But the game started getting faster and faster and faster and faster, and I was like, I don't like this anymore, because I like COD 3 and stuff like that too. And then I just didn't touch it, and then I got PS4 and I didn't touch it.
Yeah
And so like that. Oh, and Tribes. Oh my god, I remember playing Tribes on the computer and like through high school. But I didn't really play that much after that. And then recently I just started playing again. I started playing like Halo Infinite, because I like from 2016 to like now, I just dumped my whole life into the Escape.
Yeah, not
like literally the whole like.
I remember like I was huge into Smash for a while with Vedinian there, and we were actually, I don't know if you see that sticker there where it's like a dude with a bow and a dude with like a laser gun. It's like right in the middle with the octopus.
Oh yeah.
So that was like my gaming channel, Hero and the Bard. That was the infancy of the Bard idea, and we were running these Smash tournaments. And I had made like a pact with myself around that time.
A blood pact with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, it was a few years before that, but my idea was, if I can't make money, like even if it's like a negligible amount of money with a hobby, I shouldn't be doing it. Like that was like my philosophy at the time. So like with music, I was like, I should be able to make back the whatever I put into the music equipment. I should be able to get that out from, like it isn't, it was, well, at the time it wasn't no $10,000, but I maybe have quite a few more dollars into my music career at this point, but I've made that. I think the music stuff has, given me a ton more money back than some of my other hobbies. Podcasting is an example here. And then but the gaming stuff, it was like, how can we monetize the gaming? So
I think
like,
we were
obviously,
just born too soon.
Yeah.
like actually born just a little too soon.
Yeah, for real, man.
Yeah. But we're the pioneers. That's why it grew so big.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be anything without me and my payments.
Yeah.
But that project is actually not that old. But we had a warehouse, and we were running Smash tournaments out of that warehouse, and we were actually making money doing it. And then we started having these dudes that are like,
why is it a word? Why aren't you still doing it?
Well,
I actually know quite a bit about like the Smash community, even though I don't play Smash. Like I know like Hungry Box.
It's pretty.
What's his name? Goat. What the hell is his actual name? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that are like bad, like
Mango.
Pedophile guys.
Mango.
Yeah, there's a Mango guy. Well, we had a guy Ninja at our tournaments. Like he's like the top ranked guy. But he was smashing our tournaments.
No
like,
pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended, indeed. And like he was just taking all the money, and it was like we were making money, but it was like, man, like the demographic of people that was starting to show up was like, whoa, we're actually getting like these top ranked people showing up at this.
Like why'd you stop?
Yeah. Well, we ended up losing the warehouse and stuff because of the group of people that I was renting it with. It all kind of fell apart. Okay. But that's kind of where like the bus idea came from.
Smash bus?
Well, no. Like I guess like, no, not at all, really, honestly. But the bus idea was like the inception of like all of those things, and that's where I was like, if I can make my money back of what I invest in the bus, like that's gonna be like worth the investment. So for me, the bus was like a way where I don't have to pay rent because I'm living in a bus. So that's like the amount of money I would spend on rent every month, like back. And it's like a creative passion project.
Well, Well, yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna say too. Is like sometimes you spend money on things, but you won't necessarily see anything out of it other than experience, right?
Yeah,
So like
and
you
that
spend like
experience
60.
is valuable to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you spend like 60 grand on your schooling, and hopefully you learn something out of it, right? But you might not make that back. I mean, there's people who still paying their student loans and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy. But it's just one of those things where it's like, sometimes you can spend money on entertainment without getting stuff back, right? Like you spend money on a movie and you're like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I've had this argument with people because I was at a point where like I wasn't watching TV and stuff. Like I was like,
I don't watch TV shows.
Yeah, no, like well, even like Netflix and stuff like that. Like I was like not on it, and I would spend like immense hours around this time when we were doing the gaming thing. It's like if I'm not doing something to make myself better, I shouldn't be doing it. And that was like my philosophy then. And like my friend was like, so you're not going to like watch movies even though like you enjoy watching movies? I'm just like, well, like I don't need to be watching the movie if I can like go better myself here. It's like, well, can't the movie inspire you to create better art? Like, and then it was like, fuck, like I guess you're right, kinda, but like I'm not making movies, so why do I need to watch movies, man?
Yeah.
When I could just be listening to music. But it's definitely one of those perspectives that's very interesting to go down the rabbit hole with, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess entertainment is a big part of it too. I used to watch a lot of movies all the time, and then I just stopped. I stopped watching movies, I stopped playing games, and I just started doing like other things. I guess just interests change, and I think that that's okay. Like your interests are allowed to change. So.
Yeah. I think like, yeah, you can deaden things. I remember there was a time where I was practicing guitar like immensely and very like intently on specific things. Yeah. And then when I stopped doing that, the time that I would put into the guitar, I would get more out of it because I was enjoying it more. And it's such a weird dynamic that's just the way the world works. That like if you're enjoying something, like it's almost like at night when you're dreaming because you were having fun doing it, like you're dreaming of it and you're getting more reps in. Like I feel like there's such I would love to like work with some sleep study people on that because I think that there's huge legitimacy to those things.
Well, you need to definitely recuperate from sleeping. I think that's like scientific fact.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just thinking too, it's like some people can go and like do something, like they can go to a gym and they can run on a treadmill for like 5 miles or something like that. It's like I am not one of those people.
Yeah,
like I'd rather hop on my bicycle
yeah, seriously,
and go somewhere
because
then I'm actually like it's weird. Like
it's a productive thing too.
Yeah,
like maybe I want to go somewhere, but I want to work out in, and I can team them both up 100%.
So to me, like that's kind of like what's going on in my head most of the time.
Yeah,
it's like I'd rather hop on my bike and go somewhere and like enjoy the ride than just ride for the sake of riding.
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, what's the point? Am I supposed to be working on my cardio or am I like riding my bike? It's like,
well, it's
byproduct of me riding my bike is working on my cardio.
Well, it's the same thing like with jiujitsu, right? Like I hate running. Like I think once a year I'll like the weather will be right. I'll have slept right and my back just like feels just right. And I walk outside and I'm like, this is the day this year that I go on a run, and like I'll run like a couple miles and that's it. Yeah. But like jiu-jitsu is like a ton of cardio, involved, and I'm having a blast while I'm doing it. Yeah, exactly. And the adrenaline's like helps with like keeping it entertaining. But yeah, it's man, I hate running, dude. Unless it's like parkour, right, or a sport. If I can team it into something else, it has to. Game.
For me, it has to be something else. I can't just do something.
Yeah.
I have to it's not accidentally. Like me enjoying this has to have the byproduct of me somehow enhancing my body.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't just sit there like
yeah. I don't know. Like I think a big thing about like training, like lifting weights is like the social aspect. Like if you can get into the bro like the synergy of like having like get up bro, like you know what I mean,
motivators,
you know what I mean. It's one of those things where like if you have a shitty day at work and you go to the gym, it's like I don't want to go to the gym. Like I'm done for the day. Like I've had like a shitty day. But once you get to the gym, you're like, oh yeah, this is why I need to be
friends are here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they're gonna pump you up and like say something funny right when you walk in. It's like, oh man, my day's already better. And it's crazy how
it's like the social aspect. Work. I guess it's just a way for like guys to hang out.
Yeah, it honestly is. Yeah, I mean, some people are like hella passionate about it. Where like they'll be like basement dweller like dudes that can just lift weights by themselves. But
yeah, because they like to see the fact that their body's changing. And
but even then, it's like that's dangerous. Like in my personally, I like to like max like weights like when I lift, so I need a spotter to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like I want to push my limits and maybe die if I drop it on my face.
No.
Yeah.
I want advanced.
Yeah, advanced right out the gate, please.
I don't
that's
know
like
how
a
well
big,
that works.
yeah. Yo, I mean, dude, that's what I do in like most video games when I play them.
I only play
Like,
on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever's the hardest difficulty when you get the game,
Video
that's
games
the
ruined
one.
us. That's the lesson here is that video games are ruining everything.
Yeah, honestly. Do you think the future generation here that's coming up is yeah, I mean like what is it, the Zoomers right now?
Zoomers.
Whatever's the next thing.
I guess Gen Z. Yeah.
What do you think like the biggest threat to like their generation is?
Just threat? What do you mean?
Like I think
threat in what sense?
Yeah, I mean like what do you think is like a big hurdle that they're all going to face? Like I think like for us,
I mean their baby pictures are like on the internet, right? Like from their parents and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, like the doxing stuff like is a huge thing.
They have a different, it's just completely fundamentally different.
Yeah, the reality is just like night and day different.
I don't know. I don't know too much. I can't imagine it would be too different. I mean, every generation always says the next one's stupid, and everyone says that the older one is also stupid.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. Like I don't really know. They just have like a different toolkit that they grew up with.
Yeah.
In a different like context.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. I don't know what they're going to be going into. I noticed that people don't like to read in general inside the escape room. So,
yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's funny. That's an interesting take.
yeah. So like even if it's more than like 5 words, it's just like oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, oh god, my ADHD is just not gonna let me do this. Yeah, I think like a big issue in my generation, or our generation,
ours
rather,
probably,
yeah, is like I think a lot of people like like Simon Sinek. I don't know. Do you know who that is? Simon Sinek. He's like he has like this talk about our generation feeling entitled and that like we want to work for a company. Like the vast like generalization is that like the millennials want to change the future and work for a company that's going to be like a proponent for changing the future for the better and doing like having a positive impact on the planet while also making good money. Well, it's like I feel like maybe that's the thing. And
but
then,
like the dynamic has changed, right? Like
yeah.
back in the day, like in like early 1900s and stuff, like you'd wake up and be like, well, I'm dying, so I have to go to the factory and work 12 hours so my wife can feed her kid, our kid or whatever, right? And then you would go out and do this, but like the dynamic has changed. Like we're very fortunate that we have like labor laws and stuff like that, right? That like allow us to have like leisure because before that we didn't have leisure. So now it's like, well, I guess if I'm going to do something with my life, I should do this. I guess. But
yeah.
I don't know. And the other thing is, like, I don't think it's wrong to demand, like, fair compensation for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because, like, everything's transparent now, basically. Like, we can go on the internet and be like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
This is $1 million project and you gave me $50K for the year to manage this thing?
Yeah, seriously.
And you're eating the other 900,000?
Yeah.
Like, we know. So, like, we know. And it's just like, okay, like, I guess we're okay with you making X amount of...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, yeah, like that transparency is so big in this generation. I think, cryptocurrency is like a big thing with that too. Yeah. It's just like the blockchain tracks everything. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
blockchain with NFTs and stuff.
Oh, dude, I don't even want to go on to NFTs. Oh, happy Chinese New Year! Apparently, let's go.
Yeah, it's like the Lunar New Year or something, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I had an NFT.
Did you? What was it? What did you get? Was it a monkey with a hat?
No, it wasn't one of those. I had it. I bought it, and then after I bought it, because I was gonna like flip it, it was like, oh, like X amount of proceeds always go to the artist, and I was like, oh, well, that just ruined everything because now I have to price this thing in my head of like, it was gonna sell for like $100, but now it has to sell for like 120 because the guy gets like a 20% cut. Excuse me. But yeah, so like.
So the artist always gets a cut.
Oh, in this particular one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they built it into there, but they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time it's sold or resold,
was it on OpenSea?
It was on Nifty Gateway.
Man, Nifty Gateway.
Nifty
God,
Gateway.
These names, yo.
Yeah. Nifty Gateway has some big collabs.
Yeah, I believe it.
They're throwing down.
Yeah. What they got, like celebrities involved?
Yeah, they got like Steve Aoki.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Steve
cool.
Aoki? That's cool.
Yeah. No, yeah, of course, dude. Yeah, Stevie Aoki's like
he's a cool guy.
G. I would love to go to like one of his raves.
I would love
like
to
the
do that.
cake thing.
I hate the cake thing.
You hate the cake thing?
I would go there if he didn't throw cake on me. It's just aggravating.
I mean, I don't think I would want the cake on me, but I would be like, oh, look, he's throwing cake on people, you know?
Maybe.
I'd be intrigued by it.
Maybe you can just hand them out like little muffins or something.
Yeah.
But that just that would just frustrate me. It's like, great. I came here to have a good time. Now I'm covered in cake. Oh, goodness. And I'm like, oh.
I don't know. I don't know where that. I think he was on Joe Rogan talking about the cake thing, and it's just like that's pretty silly. I've been to like a lot of raves.
I love EDM. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What are some?
I
of your
met
favorite
Armin van
artists?
Buuren.
Oh really,
Yeah.
dude? That's sick.
Yeah. So I went to a concert, right? And at this concert, I really wanted to meet him. So like my whole thing was that like I would somehow always manage to meet the like artists. Like I went to like an Angels and Airwaves concert like a long time ago, and I met them. And I went to like a Gym Class Heroes.
How did you meet them though? Like, what was the circumstances?
They were like leaving. They were like leaving, and I would like catch them on the way out because I wanted to get Tom's autograph from Blink 182.
Yeah. Tom DeLonge, alien guy.
Yeah. Whoa. So yeah, I wanted to get his autograph. So I was like always somehow managed to like get my way in there to like talk to them or
You're
just
a
like
social
say hi.
engineer, aren't you?
Maybe, I don't know. So then I was like doing all this stuff, and I went to see Armin van Buuren in concert, and I thought this is super cool. I was like, hey, can like I go meet him? And like I kept talking to all these security guards, and like they wouldn't let me through.
Yeah.
But they had really good security.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm looking around. He's like, dude, listen, the only way that will let you through is if you have a backstage pass. It looks like this. I was like, all right. I was like, okay, cool. So like I'm walking out of this like. I'm defeated because I almost always meet them. Like that was my thing. I'm defeated. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, I'm telling you, this is the truth. Like I meet these people, and like as they're walking out, like I look down on the right hand side, like right by the gate where you leave, and it was like I think it was Live Nation, just a green Live Nation like tab, and it said LN on it. So I'm guessing it was their staff. So I'm like, oh my God. So I run over to it, I pick it up, and I attach it to my shirt. I run over to the guy, and I cover the label so he can't see that it says LN, but it looked just like a backstage pass. And I was like, yo, like I have a backstage pass. Like I just went to my car. And he's like, oh, you do? Oh yeah, cool. All right. So you can go back and meet him. So then I got to meet like Armin van Buuren.
That's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
Well, how
cool.
did he respond to it? He's just like, oh, what's up, man?
Yeah, no, because he saw it. Oh,
Yeah.
who, Armin?
Yeah.
It was like a meet and greet thing. So there were multiple people there.
Okay.
Yeah. It was really, really cool. And then my girlfriend at the time got to meet Armin, and the other guy's name, Trevor Guthrie, I think was his name. I didn't get to meet Trevor though. I only got to meet Armin.
That's cool.
It was really kind of like weird. It was like, hey, I like your music. Keep it up, I guess.
Yeah, it's
like,
funny.
thanks.
I actually like if you look behind you. I don't know if you can see it, but I have like a VIP wristband. Like from every show that I've played or like been at where like I've been a performer or anything like that, I always keep the wristband because you never know if it's gonna match like the next show.
It doesn't.
Well, sometimes it does, dude. Sometimes
There's
it
no way.
does. Well, it doesn't
out.
need to be identical. It like if it's color based, it's like too easy, dude. Like
Please be in red.
yeah, it's like red, green, or blue, or like gold.
Colorblind.
Like you know what I mean? It's easy, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was one of the coolest things that I've done.
Yeah.
Just like I felt really cool. Felt like a badass.
Yeah. No, that's
Getting in there.
pretty good. That's pretty good stuff, man. I like it.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. Then we went, the one time we went to Call of Duty XP. So it was like this huge Call of Duty expo that they used to put out. It was like 2016. We went out there. It was me and my sister. And we had like press passes. So we had media passes. So everywhere I was going, I was like, media. And like they were like letting me in everywhere. Like I got to like cut the lines and stuff. It was really cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it felt cool.
I've done that before.
But it was weird too because like it wasn't like customer facing. Like it wasn't like, oh, welcome to Call of Duty. It was like, oh, you're here, like go in the back, like there's like some special thing.
Yeah.
Like you'd go there and like you'd play this stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool.
Different.
Yeah, you got hands on like stuff.
Yeah, but it was like it was a job.
People... Yeah.
Like you could feel the like, oh, okay, like you're here to work.
Yeah.
As opposed to like you're here to like do a zip line for fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So you had to act like you were like working.
Well, we actually were, but
oh yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, but it felt different.
Yeah. No, that's funny though.
Yeah. I
think I have a story about like where I did some stuff like that. So I had my military ID and I was coming back from a PR trip, and I remember like I had my sea bag on my back because like I was using that to travel because it was like if you had your military ID you could fly with like that as your luggage like so super easily without paying for it. So I had that, and I remember I had this like cabana hat like crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's
No,
like it's like a sombrero that's made out of like palm leaves. Like
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
With like the leaves hanging
And they
out.
hang out on the
Yeah,
sides.
yeah, exactly.
Like they're woven.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember I had that hat, and I like go because I realized like I'm in the one line, and I'm seeing like I'm gonna be late for my flight if I can't. Cause like the TSA thing was like, yeah, exactly, 100%. Like, so I was like, well, I have to like manipulate these people now. so dude, I remember like I was on the phone with the guy. I can't remember exactly how the conversation went, but it was like, yo, like we can get you the ticket, but you need to get to the gate in the next like 10 minutes. So I was like, all right, like whatever. Like I had like the email or whatever I needed to do. So I ran up to the TSA like pre-check lady, and I'm like, I'm military. I need to get on this plane. I need to go now. Like, I'm going to miss my flight. Like, I'm on orders or something. And they just, like, I look ridiculous because, like, I'm in, like, shorts and I have, like, the cabana hat with, like, a sea bag and, like, I have this Hawaiian shirt or something. Like, I look like a ridiculous.
An actual military. Yeah.
Like, I look like a whole fucking meme.
Civilian.
And they just let me in, and I sprint to the gate, and it's just, like, this heavy bag on my back. I'm like the biggest, like, eye attraction for everyone while I'm running to the gate, and I make it there just in time.
The opposite of the gray man.
Yeah,
I really like the gray man.
Yeah.
Gray man. Do you know gray man?
No.
Like try to like blend into the background.
Oh yeah.
It's like a security thing. It's like when you're walking around, try not to be like the one that sticks out.
Of course.
Yeah. I love gray man.
Yeah, it's one of those things like this is
And here I am on a podcast.
Yeah. But this bus has like good urban camouflage too.
Kind of. I mean, I saw this thing from a mile away.
Yo, for sure. But if you go to a neighborhood that looks like this is kind of a crummy neighborhood, it's kind of a crummy looking bus. It's not the most interesting thing in my peripherals right now. You know what I mean? It passes like the surface level test of things.
Let's see. If I drove by this, I'd be like, what? I think my first instinct would be like, what is this? And I take like a pretty good hard look at it. It'd be like, And then I could see it being like, oh, did you ever see like this bus around? I'd be like, yeah, for sure. Like to me, it's one of those things like I definitely saw that bus. Yeah. You know, but I mean, eyewitness testimony and all that stuff too.
No, 100. I think like the average person's looking at it like, that thing looks sketchy enough that I don't want to know anything. Like that's none of my business. Like that thing looks like trouble. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
I probably wouldn't get close to it unless I was driving by, but like I would know about it.
Yeah, you'd know about it. Yeah, for sure.
Memorize the plate real quick if it starts coming after me.
Let me take a picture of that really quick. No, I'm sure tons of my like pictures of this bus exist, and that's why I have the curtains up so no one can see in and out.
Yeah, I mean you like live here, so
like,
the curtains make sense.
It's crazy how like much privacy like I perceive.
A curtain does.
Well, it's just like I never felt like I didn't have that much privacy in here. Like
it's no different than a house if you think about it. You're still in a box with windows. Like
it's
the same 100%. Concept. You're just on wheels.
Yeah, the only thing that like I was more conscious of was like the volume of audio in here.
Yeah, are these single pane windows?
I think they might be, but it's like it's another thing too. Is like I'm a disjointed house in front of a house, like you know what I mean. Like in the worst case scenario, I still have like the distance of a sidewalk to a house, so
maybe.
I can be loud to the point where like I'd be playing some music, like I'd be on my guitar or something, but if I'm like out in like a neighborhood that I'm not too sure, like if it's like a bunch of Karens or something, like I gotta be really careful. Like I would be a lot more conscious of things and like put headphones in instead.
I mean, it'd be pretty annoying if some guy in a bus pulled up like outside my house and just started playing music. I'd be like, what is this?
Yeah, exactly.
I might not be Karen, but I'm definitely caring.
Yeah, fair enough. But like at the same time, it's like, you know, if you see your neighbor like interacting with the guy, it's probably not the worst thing going on.
Why are you interacting with this guy? I don't know. It just depends.
No, for sure. Your neighbor might be a goon. So.
Oh, I don't know, dude.
But yeah, man. So what do we got? Like 8:35
already.
Like we've been going for at least two hours and change now.
I could go forever, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dude.
I kind of want to maybe get like a bathroom break here or something.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But do you have any final sentiments you want to give on the podcast? I'll definitely have to have you back, man. We had some good conversations. I
we'll do.
I would love to
the
go
bus.
to an escape room with you and like run one and just like
Oh,
we can recap it or
just
something.
absolutely complaining the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I might do it if we don't mention who or where it was. Because I don't like talking smack.
Yo, all right.
You know what I mean? I don't like it.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate the hustle these people are trying to do, and I appreciate that from a business perspective. And it's just one of those things. We can definitely talk about it after.
I feel like from my perspective, like with some of the things that I do, the community is different than like because I like in jiu-jitsu, you're pretty humble and you're good with people, but like, and even in music, like you're trying to appreciate people, but there's some things that I do where like, especially like in the gaming, it's like I play League of Legends. I've been playing League of Legends lately. So like if someone on your team's sucking, everyone on your team's shitting on them.
It's a known thing. So, it's lol. Yeah.
But it's just like, it's such an interesting facet of things to be that way. And I'm pretty transparent about like my thoughts on things anymore because of that, because people will do that to me. And I appreciate the transparent feedback as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. But like,
roasting someone behind their back is a little different. Yeah.
I own and operate an escape room, right?
Yeah. So you can't be roasting.
Like I can't like, if I feel like if I were to say it, like, and anyone else that like owns and operates an escape room, it's automatically like, whoa,
that guy's a dick. Yeah.
Well, not necessarily that. It's just like, he must really know what he's talking about, or he's just trying to like undermine the competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah.
Like somebody can watch a movie and be
100%.
like, oh, that was a bad movie. But then like somebody who makes movies goes and watches this movie and they're like, oh, like, dude, like, what are you trying to accomplish? You know, like it's different. You know?
Yeah. No, 100%. I feel that.
Like if I went to like a music show and it's just like, I don't know if I necessarily like this, and then you go up, you're like, your technique is garbage.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, dude, like what are they doing? What was that timing? Like issues between the whole band. This dude's drunk, that dude's high. Like what is going on? Oh my god. Yeah, no, 100%. I like the criticism. I feel like criticism is important. Like you use Reddit. Yeah, dude. Like in Reddit, like I've only started using Reddit in the last couple of years, and man, like. It's so crazy, like the fact that you can be anonymous talking on this stuff.
Sort of anonymous.
Yeah, sort of anonymous.
You still have a name.
Yeah, for sure. But like you can just like make burner accounts and stuff really easily. And it's just crazy when someone has like an actual question about something. You just see like, if it's a popular thread, you have some dog shit opinions that show up, and it's crazy to watch like these people interact with other people, and it's just like, man, you're of a very like blind loyal like ideology, like maybe like we're talking about like an engine or like in a Jeep or something. Like I'm on my Jeep subreddit and people are always talking like, oh, this thing, and I'm like, dude, like there's way better reasons than like first of all, Jeeps are terrible vehicles for multiple reasons.
I just drove my friend's Jeep
for
the first time. I haven't driven a stick in a long time, and I drove his Jeep. And I'm trying to like get the clutch down and stuff, and I'm just like fishtailing. It just feels like a go-kart. I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is a death trap.
Dude, seriously, like you think Jeeps are good in the snow?
It was a Wrangler.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, mine's a Wrangler too. It's like an 04, like one of the better, like more regarded models.
That's probably I think what he has too.
Dude, and it was like just it's just so bad. It's just like
there's no ABS.
It's no ABS. It's rear-wheel drive. So like I could put it in 4-wheel drive if I want to like.
It's not the same. It's not all-wheel drive, right? It's 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I like cars. It's one of my things.
Yeah.
But I'm never buying like a gas car ever again. I'm done.
You have an electric.
It's gonna be EV. My next car is gonna be EV.
What are you driving now?
It's an A4.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty nice. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like it because it has all-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a super nice car.
Audis in general are like pretty nice. The maintenance is pretty expensive though.
If you do it yourself, it's not that bad.
Okay.
Like there's like one of those things where it's like. There's like I think like a lot of like myths around it, right? So
for sure,
you look at like an Audi or something, and like you look at the MSRP and it's like $50,000 or something like that, right? You get one that's used and it's like almost half off, right? And then it's like this car used with like 10,000 miles is a $50,000 car compared to this car that's like new but it's the same price. Like you can feel the difference inside. I think with Audi and the German cars, you really need to keep up with your maintenance on them. They're a lot more, I think. it's not necessarily like a tool, right? Because you can get cars that are like tools. Like you get like an Accord or something like that. It just goes forever. You press the start, you go to the thing, you turn it off, and like you're done, right? Like it's like A to B, and then you have cars that are more like I like this.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm sure there's instruments like that too, right?
Well, 100%. I've had this argument with someone where they're like, I can't believe you have like, because I have a guitar that's like custom made from a custom
like
shop
why
in
wouldn't you if you really
California.
like music? Like why wouldn't you have that?
Yeah, he's like,
See,
I can't believe you have that on the bus and the heat, like all this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, dude, like it's
I
my
have it to
workhorse.
use it.
Like I need a high quality guitar that's gonna take my shit and play great, like regardless.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm not getting like a fragile collector's
Utilitarian.
piece. Yeah.
See? But yeah, with cars and stuff like that, like I'm just sick of oil changes. I'm sick of like you look at an engine and it's just like this is so complex.
What do you want to get? Do you want to get a Tesla?
I don't know. I keep looking at all kinds of EVs. Tesla seems to be really cool, but their reliability, from what I've read, isn't the best. I've driven the S, the Y, and the 3. They were all really cool. It's
interesting
cool.
that you're talking about doing your own maintenance, because with Tesla, that's not so much an option.
Well, what I mean is like I don't ever want to do an oil change ever again, and like I don't want to change my transmission oil. Like I don't want to do any of this. Like I just want to like hop in my car and like enjoy my car.
Yeah.
But I feel like as EVs become more popular, there's going to be like some pretty cool like hacks and stuff that are going to start coming out.
For sure.
Like it's going to be really cool. I think modding an electrical vehicle is so much more fun to me than modding like an engine, like boring out cylinders and doing stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I just feel like
I
feel like it's easier to do it in an electric vehicle, like from a conceptual level. It's just the way that they're building. Yeah, the way that they're building these things are the problem. The software end of things is locking you out of stuff, which is like another thing. Like for this generation, like that question that I asked you
about
before. Yeah, it's just like, man, they're gonna be so used to like outsourcing things.
Yeah, when you mentioned networking, I was like, oof. Because like I feel like networking is just going to be fully outsourced.
Mm-hmm.
There's just going to be like virtual server farms.
Mm-hmm.
You just call one guy and he's just like, yeah, no problem, whatever.
Yeah.
As opposed to like having like your own net admin at like every single site, unless you're doing something like very secure or something like that. You know what I mean? But
yeah. Well, I think honestly, the cloud is a scary thing to do. Even though like, I don't know, it depends on the information and stuff that you're doing. But that's a whole other rabbit hole I won't go down right now.
So Zoomers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, just just everything has like built-in obsolescence, even phones. You know what I mean? Everything that you daily.
That's why I have an iPhone.
Yeah,
because my iPhone lasts for like 5 years. So I had an iPhone 6S, and I had it for so long I gave it to my dad, and it still gets updates. Like that's literally why I have an iPhone. Yeah.
I don't know about that, man. I just heard about someone that got an update that bricked their iPhone, and then
I've never had an issue with any of my iPhones. Yep.
All right, fair enough. I've had this phone for
it goes like this.
It
goes. I get myself a new phone. I hand it off to my mom first.
Yeah.
Then after I get a new phone, then I get that one to my mom. Then it hops down from my mom to my dad, because my dad's like not too into tech.
Yeah.
So like literally I had a 6S, gave it to my mom. Then I had a chance to give her a new iPhone. So like she knows how to use it like pretty well.
Yeah.
So like I got her a new iPhone, and then her phone trickled down to my dad.
Yeah.
So like that thing is still pumping. Like I think we just have to replace a battery on it for like $30.
Yeah.
But like, excuse me.
Yeah.
They really last a long time. I really like
What
them.
do you think about like the like you're talking about, you switch the battery out? Like, did you hear about the stuff that they have going on where their batteries are serialized, that you can't replace like a brand new battery with a brand
I watch a lot
battery?
of like Lewis Rossman.
I love Lewis Rossman.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But they kind of like backpedaled on a lot of that stuff.
I don't know.
Like
man.
I feel like they release it because like right to repair and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I am a proponent for right to repair, definitely, but it just depends on what you're doing. Like I haven't shattered my phone in years. I use a really cool case. It's called Mouse. Free publicity for them, I guess. But my mouse case is like sick. I've had this since my 6S. It's a sick case. It has like little like ledges up above the screen and stuff like that. I have not cracked a phone in years. That's why my dad has like my old phone. It's pretty sick. It's also like MagSafe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love
MagSafe for what?
For iPhone. Like it's like like in my car I have like a MagSafe charger. So like I just pop it. It's like a ring of magnets.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I was gonna put like a wallet on here to show you too, but
yeah.
that was
No.
outside the podcast. But yeah, I love these things. Like they
Yeah.
just get handed down, and they hold their value.
Lewis isn't the only one talking about that issue though. Like,
About what?
Like the serialization issue.
Yeah, I saw that they were like doing it for like the screens and the Face ID and like a whole bunch of other stuff. But I think they backpedaled some because like Apple's. I heard that they're saying that like they're allowing their customers to like repair their own stuff.
That must be a new thing that I haven't heard. I mean, I'm not an Apple user, so
Dude,
I watched.
another shout out to another YouTuber. I watch Front Page Tech b.o.a.t all the time. So like I am like literally like I get like up to the minute news on like everything. Like I even watch Android stuff too, just because I like to see where the tech is going.
Well, dude, this is my Android. Like if you look at this, you see like it's pink in there. This used to be a pink Samsung. And I had it all replaced because it got ran over by a car, probably multiple cars.
What is that, like an S9 or something?
It's an S9. Yeah. So like same thing. Like you
could have just got a new one. Like I feel like Androids are so cheap you can just like
get a new one. But a new one for you is like $1,000. A new one for me is like a couple $100.
Well, if I had like it's true.
You know what I mean?
I mean, even my old one is still pretty expensive.
You know, I can just keeping this one up to date. Like I think the next thing I'm gonna
S9
get
is the same generation as the 6S, right?
Dude, I don't know.
So whatever the 6S is worth.
Yeah.
But I would have just saved the money and bought like a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because like,
well, to repair this is like the parts are cheaper than like repairing an iPhone too. You know what I mean? That's another perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of like Honda and Audi.
Yeah. Well,
like
you know what? Like,
but
then like some people are over there playing like Fender guitars, and I have a Kiesel. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know what that means.
Yo, I mean, fair enough. I had some people have a Volkswagen. I have a Porsche. You know what I mean?
I have a Volkswagen too. It just has 4 rings.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Same
like
thing with Porsche.
Same thing.
Same
Porsche is out or Volkswagen too.
Yeah.
And let's see who's in VAG. I think it's Lambo. I think they just sold Bugatti, but Lambo's in there. Porsche's in there. Volkswagen, Audi. They have a big group of Skoda. I think like Seat or Seat, whatever. Yeah, they're all in there. Dude, in Zurich, you should have seen the cars that were there. Insanity. I think I've seen more G-Wagons in Zurich than I have in my whole life.
What's your dream car?
My dream car? It'd probably be like... I'm debating between the R8 and a Huracan as to like what my actual dream car is.
Oh,
the Huracan and the R8
That's
is like
a
the same
Bugatti thing, the Huracan?
It's a Lambo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it's the same car.
Yeah.
It's just one's Italian.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a German engine in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Then I also like the RS3, the Audi like hatch, like the little like mini Golf thing.
Yeah.
It's like 5 cylinders.
I remember like when the one Fast and Furious movie came out and they had the Lexus LFA. That's super
cool. Yeah, they tuned the exhaust.
That thing is
I love
super
cars, dude.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if like money was no object and I could have any car, do you know what the Hennessy Venom GT is?
Is that a Mustang?
It's a they basically took a Lotus body and put a like I can't remember what I think it's
Lotus.
Yeah, it's like a Lotus body. It's like a carbon
the new
fiber.
Lotus is beautiful,
dude. All Lotuses are like
Elvira
super beautiful.
The new Lotus is like $70K, and it looks like it's like $1 bazillion.
Yeah, but this thing's like twin turbo supercharged, like insane. It's a death trap, but I want it so bad.
Electric still beat.
Yeah, I don't know if it does actually. This thing like that may be the fastest like commercial car, but this thing is like a death trap insanity machine. Yeah, I don't know. I had a huge chapter of my life where I was like going down the car rabbit hole myself.
I
realized I'm probably not gonna drive a lot of these things.
You can drive them. It's pretty cheap. You can rent it.
Yeah.
You might not own it, but you can drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at like driving a whole bunch of these cars like around like a racetrack just to see it.
Yeah.
Just see how it feels.
I would do that. I would spend like a couple $100.
Yeah, it was like $500. I was looking. I was gonna do it with my friend. Like,
what did $500 give you?
I think it gives you like 1 or 2 laps.
Of what? With what car?
And it was a Huracan.
Oh yeah, so it was like top shelf, whatever you want.
It's
don't
like
they throttle them though? Like, can't they control? They can control the computers from the.
Yeah, I think you have a guy with you.
Yeah.
But like, if I was gonna do a lap, I'd probably do it like 50 miles an hour, just so I could be in it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, nice. All right.
Yeah, pretty neat. Yeah.
Floor it a couple times, like.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Just like game the system.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, just chilling in it, like that.
Yeah.
Just second gear. I just want these pools.
Manuals are dead, right?
Oh, and it's oh man, I have a cup inside that says "Save the Manuals." I got from RCR actually. But yeah, dude,
The only manual I own is my bike.
Yeah. Oh, you have a motorcycle?
Yeah, dude.
What is it?
Ninja 650.
Okay, fair.
It's a 2-cylinder.
Yeah, yo,
Parallel.
Yeah, dude. No, that's super cool. I
It's
think
super torquey.
I wanted to get like a. You know what I wanted? Like I was saying, if I got a bus different, if I got a different bus, something I would look for is like a handicap person lift thing on the side,
So you put your bike
so
in.
I could take the bike in and out easily.
Get an electric scooter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea as
Yeah,
well.
like the thumb one. When I was in Zurich, I was driving around one of those things.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like zipping around like.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's so fast, and they go for so many miles too.
Yeah. I
It's
imagine
cold,
it's
though,
super cool though. Yeah. I want all of like the fancy things, but I think like the thing I was going for was
To me,
like,
it's not even fancy things. To me, it's like the things that I appreciate, like the craftsmanship of.
100% actually.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, well, like, yeah, like fancy's nice, but like you said, like I'm a utilitarian. Like,
It's like
I want something that's gonna be very durable in the hands of someone that's, going to
G-Wagon.
utilize it. Yeah, but I wanted
like a
dual
Toyota
sport.
Tacoma.
I wanted it. Yeah, a Tacoma. Well, nah, just get a Ford F-150. Honestly, or Ford
Come on, it's
Ranger.
Toyota. It's Taco Mama. You can
I
go
don't
forever.
know. Toy Taco. My buddy like had that. Like he ripped off the letters to make it say Toy Taco.
It's pretty cool. They have
Yeah.
a lot of cool like accessories and stuff for it.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna get a truck, I'm getting an American truck, even though Toyota's like assembled.
I
in
really
America.
want the Cybertruck really bad.
Yeah,
That's
from
like the
Halo?
only Tesla.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, from Halo. Nice. I think it's so cool. It looks so sick.
Yeah, I don't think it looks very good.
It has,
but
it has no paint. I don't have to change the oil. I can like actually throw rocks and stuff at it and not care if I chip the paint. So it's like,
Yeah,
it's the ultimate truck. Maybe I get like a black one or like wrap it black.
it
or
would
something.
be cool, but it's not the truck I would want. I
It's
feel
so
like
sick.
I don't know. I gotta drive
the
I gotta drive an all electric car. But
It's
I
the
think
craziest thing in the world. I drove like the Model Y long range, and it was
Yeah.
like the fastest car I ever drove. Quickest car.
Yeah.
Right, quick like 0 to 60.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was
Yeah.
It felt
Did
like
it?
my bike. It
Yeah.
felt like my motorcycle.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was sick.
What's the Y is the
Y is like the SUV.
hatchback thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the Y is the baby SUV.
Mm-hmm.
The 3, I drove the 3 too. The 3 and the Y are very similar. I think it's the same. It literally is the same like skateboard or whatever they call it. And then the S and the X are the same too. It's just like different guts.
the same skateboard.
Yeah, I think they call it
the
skateboard.
bottom part. Yeah,
Um,
that's funny as hell.
So I didn't drive the X, the big SUV,
Yeah.
the Fabergé egg, but I did drive the.
Yeah, I hope the world like moves into like a more like you watch Mandalorian.
Not really.
No.
There's just no Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Well, they have the new one out. I'm not gonna go into like spoilers or anything, but they take a character and they modify him with like machine parts to like keep him alive. Yeah, exactly. And I just like I'm excited to see what's gonna happen in the world in the future where people can start because what was
Probably going to be expensive as hell.
Yeah.
And like regular people won't have access to it.
Yeah,
So it's going to be
I
something
don't
that
know.
Elon does.
Well, some people are gonna have access to it if they're in like have the ingenuity for it, right? Because you're gonna have your DIY people. You're gonna have your GitHub 3D print your prosthetics
You're
guy.
gonna be-
You know what I mean?
You're going to be running around with a 3D printed leg.
Yeah. Well,
It's
you're gonna
gonna
have metal.
crumble.
You're gonna have metal 3D printers like by then. You know what I mean? That are more
I mean, you
affordable.
can CNC, subtractive, right? But
Yeah.
it's still the same idea.
I think. I
Just
think.
I'm
I think
just
it's
laughing
realistic.
at the idea of like there's a guy next to you with a carbon fiber leg, and the guy next to you is like in a 3D printed like
Yeah,
rink, and
just
he's
like
dude, I'm the same.
what is it? What's the PCL or whatever? Like what's the material for?
Oh,
the
I don't know.
3D
They have all
printer?
kinds.
Yeah.
They have all kinds of material.
PLI or whatever. PLA. I don't know.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one of those is the right thing.
But
But
dude,
yeah,
cars and stuff, bikes. I love all that stuff too.
yeah. No,
Um,
that's super sick.
But I also like the idea of a gray man. So like that's why I was like, if I can ever afford these cars, we'll see.
Yeah,
It's a dream.
I think let's say you had like if I don't know, like a reasonably let's say you had $20,000. Like, what would you get?
$20,000.
Yeah,
Well, what's the purpose?
a fun car.
It's a fun car.
Yeah.
How much is an S2000 right now? Probably. Like
Oh,
30.
10 probably. Like, well, I don't know about the brand newest ones or whatever.
There are no. Well, yeah.
If there,
I don't
I
know.
know you can get one for around $10,000, like an S2K from like early
S2000s are
2000s.
pretty cool.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
I fucking.
They're like
I think
motorcycle
They're
engines.
really cool, dude. I've seen. I've never been in one, but I've touched one like up close. I've sat in one. Like my buddy had one. I didn't get to like drive around in it or anything, but His was like the convertible thing, and it was super cool. Like I'm a
Yeah,
big
it's
fan
super-
of those.
I don't know, maybe a Tacoma for 20,000. Like if
Yeah.
I needed a car, if I had to buy one car to do something, it'd probably
Yeah.
be some kind of truck and
Yeah.
probably like a used Taco Mama. But
Yeah.
the thing about it though is I don't know how many miles would be for 20K because those things, like
Yeah.
you buy it new and you sell it like the same price.
Yeah, really.
Like it-
I think what I would get is I really like that not WRX, the BRZ, the Subaru BRZ thing.
yeah,
that
the Toyota and
and
Subaru made it.
Yeah, dude, that thing is super nice.
The Scion or whatever it was
Yeah.
called.
Yeah, the FRS is the Scion version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. The new one
Yeah.
looks okay.
I would do any of them. Honestly, are cool, but am pretty sure they make them in a manual transmission.
They do
That's
make
that's
them
what
in
I was.
manual. It's
yeah,
manual rear wheel drive.
yeah,
But see, that's to me. I think you'd get like more of a practical vehicle, something that you could use. But if I don't know,
I already
20K
have that. I need something fun now. You know what I mean?
fun car for 20K. I don't know.
You can have fun with a Toyota Tacoma. You ever go off roading?
No,
Well, now you have a car to do that.
I don't really have any want to go off roading.
Yeah, it's not the most fun thing.
I feel like
It's
it would
funner
get
to go
old really quick.
fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
In my opinion, I've never gone like mudding and stuff. Like I know like the people that like put like tank tracks on a truck and like they mod all that stuff all crazy.
I
There's
feel
probably
like you
super
need to
fun
have like a
stuff.
trail to do it.
Yeah,
Because like at some point it's just like, okay, I'm
not
driving
doing,
my
not
car.
doing that in the suburbs.
Like I'm just driving,
Yeah.
but like simultaneously wasting my
Yeah,
time.
I think like the biggest thing about the car is I can't remember who said this, but like life's too short to drive a boring car, and
Well, for me,
I believe
okay,
that.
so for
you gotta
me-
have fun every time you get in that thing.
I have to smile when I look back
Yeah.
at it. But I think for me, the most important thing is like a comfortable mattress because I'm in bed for 8 hours a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I need a comfortable mattress. I need a car that's super safe, but also is like comfortable. Like I like being in this thing.
Yeah.
Like I like the place that I live, and like I kind of sort of live in my car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm in it for a long time.
Long
Like,
time.
if I
of course.
travel,
Dude, I live out of
places-
my car practically even now,
pra-
especially
yeah.
if I'm doing jujitsu that day.
I mean, kind of
I
literally.
need a
but-
change of clothes in there. Yeah, this one. Yeah, 100%.
But you see what I mean? Like it's one of those things. It's like I think it's like one of those like logarithmic scales. Kind of like it eventually hits like a point of like it's like this car is just as
Diminishing
good. Yeah, diminishing
returns.
returns.
Yeah.
That's the word. Yeah, but yeah, I think a mattress is good. I think a nice, good quality car is nice.
Yeah.
Something that'll last. A Toyota, I mean, like a Toyota would be great, but I like my Audi.
Yeah. Anything that you use every day should be premium.
I agree.
Yeah. Like you have enough money to buy like bullshit drinks at the bar and stuff. Like you got enough money to spend like do
Should
that
be
like
investing.
do that like
Should
one
buy
less time
crypto.
a month and then like yeah, seriously. Like get like the guitar like I remember I paid off my student loans and that was like my gift to me. Like finally I can like
My
buy a
car was
thing
like
for
my
me.
graduation present for
Yeah.
myself.
I remember, man. I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I want. This is what I get. Like,
Man, but
Finally.
if I bought that much money in Tesla and sold it now, dude, I'd have so much money. Like,
dude, name
Dude,
any
so
investment
much
opportunity 10 years ago, dude. Like, they all exploded.
yeah, but Tesla like, ridiculously exploded.
What was the returns on that versus
I
like
don't-
Bitcoin?
From like what 7 years ago, dude. I have no
know.
idea. Like, it must be like a huge amount though.
Yeah.
I know it's like $900, but they split it into like 4, I think, before
Yeah.
that. So it's like that times 4 plus
Yeah.
that.
Of
It's
course.
huge.
I don't know, dude. If
I mean, Bitcoin was what, like $1 or something too, right?
I mean, even if it was like $100, dude, that's like $50K at the moment, and it was like higher than that earlier this year. It's insane.
Yeah, but like I remember asking my friends about it at the time in like 2012, I think. I was like, "Yo, what's Bitcoin?" Like it's a stupid thing. I'm like, "All right, never mind," because I was just
Yeah.
gonna buy like $100 of it,
Yeah.
just like have it, because it's like, oh, the future.
Dude, I took a class on it. Like I had I was taking online classes. Like I was like
Wow,
on the
you're a
weekends,
real
I'd-
pioneer.
yeah. Well, I was taking like online classes that they were doing for free. Like there was these websites that you could like go and take. Like I guess some universities were like piloting like some of their classes online. I guess.
MIT was doing it at that
Yeah,
time.
I should have found out about the MIT ones. Jeez, I was doing like I don't know if they weren't like Harvard or something, but they were some Ivy League maybe question mark
School of Farming.
Yeah, School of Farming. But yeah, they had a class on Bitcoin, so I learned all about it. And I just like at the time I had this idea like, oh man, if I'm gonna get this, I gotta have like a whole other laptop that I gotta be on the dark web with, like, and like all this other shit, and like conceptualize this thing, and then never got it. And then like years later, I found out like it exploded. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's one of those things like hindsight's 2020.
100%, man. If you could send yourself like a sticky note with like 5 words like 10 years ago, what would it say?
Buy Bitcoin. No,
yeah,
I'm not like a crypto guy. I don't know what it
I think it would be buy Bitcoin. Honestly, that would be
man. If I took, man, there's so many different things like the money from school, but if that was invested instead, like if I didn't go to college, but I bought like an apartment instead, like a building, and then rented it out. That's like literally what you'd make in like from a regular job. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Create an LLC, business tax write-off.
Yeah. That's funny.
Like that.
Tax write-off.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Learn tax write-offs.
Yeah.
Learn tax write-offs, and then LLC. I'll say that's one.
Yeah. That's a good. Like,
here you go, Mark.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Thanks, future me.
Good luck. But yeah, man. All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah,
though.
definitely.
I appreciate having you on the show. I'm definitely excited to have you on again.
Yeah, we can talk about cars and stuff too. Maybe we'll do like a podcast, like driving around and doing cool cars.
Dude, I think I have an idea where I'm gonna like do some collab stuff with the RCR guys. I might I'll see if I can rope in a couple people. I'll keep you on the Rolodex for that one.
No problem.
For sure. And then maybe we'll I'll see what I can do about getting like a collab going, maybe with you and the Finishers guys, considering you guys are like stone's
literally
throw.
down the street. I keep meaning to go talk to them about things. Like I wanted to make this thing like exercise your body and then exercise your mind. Like I had like this whole thing envisioned, but like I just haven't. I'm so busy.
I'll introduce you to them. Like next time I'm in that area, like I'll have to do some kind of
full, like,
dude all the time. Yeah, dude. It's that has to be the most fun like place to go within like a mile radius that isn't your place. It's such a good time.
Yeah, I mean if you're into that stuff.
I don't know, man. You don't have to be into it to just enjoy that spot. There's so much like it's.
I mean, it's cool hearing like you. And
they have
Brian
they have an arcade in there. Did you know that? Like their vestibule has arcade games.
Competition, dude. That's what's going on. I'll take it back.
Yo, for real.
I'll put an escape room in there.
Yeah. Apparently, like, don't quote me on this, but it's like not Billie Eilish. It's like Mary J. Blige. Like
I have no idea who that is.
She's like some famous pop singer? ? Anyway,
I've heard her name.
Something that some arcade cabinet that she used to own is now there. Like I don't remember the exact story, but the guy,
believe it if it was like The Rock or like Taylor Swift or something, because like from like around here.
Well, apparently, like she's like somewhat local, I guess as well. I don't know. Yeah,
Man,
The Rock's local.
Yeah, he went to like some high school around here somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Your boy's learning today.
Google, dude.
I'm gonna
famous people of where we're from.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. There's a lot of like good musicians from Pennsylvania though, especially like Berks County where I grew up, which is why I have a duty to uphold the mantle, keep the standards high. But all right, man. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll make sure you guys follow Escape EXE and check out their location in the Lehigh Valley.
Yep.
What do we got to do to get like a special like occasion over there? Do you have like
so basically,
specials or anything in there?
You just book online.
Book it online.
You just go online, escapex.com, and then if you want to book an escape room, top right, book now, good to go. If something's available, you do it. If you have a special request for like the week, we are open during the week, but only for special requests.
That's cool.
So,
and you do like corporate events too?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, actually. I'm kind of curious about that. I wanted to ask.
We've ended like 7 times.
Yeah.
So we do corporate events. We do like team building. So there's 2 ways to do it. The first way is that you just basically come to the escape room with you and like your group of like coworkers. Whoops. Mm-hmm. And then you and your coworkers go through the escape room. And then it's like, okay, well, you had fun. You did some team building. And then the second way is that I basically run like a seminar. So like people come in, it's like, hey, what do you think are your strengths and weaknesses? Like, who do you think is going to be the leader of the group, or like who's going to appoint themselves a leader? And then you go into the escape room and you kind of like stress out.
Yeah.
And then like, actually people get like angry kind of.
Yeah.
So it's interesting watching that happen.
Watching the dynamics fall apart that they predicted.
Yep. And then like afterwards, it's like, okay, well, this actually happened. And then this person here was the real leader. Like,
yeah. Someone should get a raise? Question mark. Not my business.
So yeah, it's kind of like a seminar thing.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. There's more of like an entry and then a reflection, as opposed to just like going there with like your friend and like doing a cool escape room. Your work friend.
Yeah.
Your work family.
Yeah. For sure. All right, man. Well, thank you very much.
All right, for real this time.
Peace. Good stuff. You'll have to like go into some of your tricks with OBS and stuff. I'm curious. Oh, almost 3 hours on the podcast. Look at that. 2 hours.
It goes